You got drinks lined up with her?
Yeah, I'm gonna get a course. Do you want anything, Dave?
No, I'll just stick with that. If I need to go into water, I'll go into water.
Matt, do you want anything?
I'm good, thanks.
Good.
I want to find out about live page, but I guess it doesn't matter.
Is that not it? I thought that was it.
Well, I had one a minute ago and it looks really good.
Yeah, okay.
What looked good?
We did. Always.
Yeah, good one. What looked good?
He has like a different live dash up.
When you can't remember how you did it?
That's the worst.
What's the worst?
We'll say obviously, but it's...
Oh! You're an idiot.
Oh, something about now.
Stream frame is
Not an idiot, that was...
I don't think it matters, does it? I feel like we fixed that and it made no actual difference to anything other than making that message go away.
Okay, well...
He has like a different live dash up.
What?
It's us talking.
Right, roll up. Twitter's done.
Well, what's done, Twitter's done.
Roll up done. Roll up done. Twitter done. You need to do Reddit because I don't know
I
Reddit.
fucking understand Reddit.
I don't get the gist of Reddit.
No good. People are watching already. Think fuck.
This is annoying.
You Reddit? We're missing a chair.
It's over there.
Oh, there he is. There he is. Old chairman. Old chairman. Chairman of the board.
Can I stand so that just my gut is in shot and the rest of me isn't? There you go.
That's the
You
aim.
probably step back a couple of paces as well.
Whee! Easy, easy! It is, Ben. It's actually the finest drink known to man, well, known to me, anyway, because I haven't tried, whiskey or anything nice with booze in it.
It's alright.
Oh, yeah, what did you think of Fenneman's, James?
It's alright.
He overrates it, doesn't he? He overrates it, the fella.
No.
He fucking overrates it.
It's no Diet Coke with cherry, I'll have you know that.
Oh,
It's fucking hell, James.
Diet Coke
Oh.
with cherry. Oh dear.
I do
What?
Diet Coke with cherry.
Oh, right.
It's just reacting.
It is better than the one with lemon
Still
and lime,
sinking
though.
in.
That's also good.
Lemon and lime.
Right, we are pretty much there.
Is the Mac is definitely going through Ethernet, not Wi-Fi, right?
Yeah.
Good.
I mean, I'll check. It's probably a bad time to check. But
What we got? We got 1 minute until the
Fuck.
till the show starts.
I mean, I could shut on that off, and I hope it's connected to that.
Sorry.
Just leave it.
Sorry,
It's obviously working.
John.
so
I was just reading your text.
Right. I think we're done.
We're ready to do it. Show.
Yeah.
Not computer games. Only part of the night at a school disco. Yeah, just two of us, just like.
Right.
Just waiting for the
If it-
girls the other
yeah,
side of the room.
I'll
Yeah.
just keep.
Like there, blokes there, and then one kid goes back and forth between the two.
Unfortunately, we haven't got enough room to do a knee slide.
Okay, right.
Who's
Take
playing
seats,
the
gentlemen.
theme tune? I thought you were gonna do
We
it on
haven't got the
keyboard.
theme tune. No, we'll have to do that.
Just play it off your phone. Just play an old episode and then stop it.
Just use GarageBand on your phone.
I'm not doing any of that.
Oh, fucking hell. Well, if you want everyone to be disappointed.
Oh yes, you've got the two.
I don't think anyone's
preceding men
disappointed
under
about
the-
We've got the two bald guys. I like the way that you've you've changed that to, was it receding men? The two bald guys.
Two before the half.
That looks quite.
Are we late yet?
It looks quite shady now that we haven't got the daylight coming in.
Yeah.
I just
like I'm basically invisible apart from that.
I can have those lights on the background.
I need to go over a bit. You want to see the name of the show, right? Right.
No.
Oh no! Don't have the lights on there.
No, that's even worse.
That
It's
looks
just
that looks terrible.
yeah, that'll have to do. It's fine.
Okay.
Do you know what, I might just get the torch on my phone and just hold it like that.
I told you, foundation, man. Whack it on your head lid.
Jason, that's an interesting spelling of.
I know, it's interesting. Isn't it?
What's that?
Not correct, but anyway, that's
Pull the
fine.
we can't pull the camera back anymore because it would fall off the table, unfortunately.
Yeah, the camera does not go any further back.
It ain't going anywhere.
No.
It don't go in anywhere. Nothing. What are you lining them up? You got 3 beers.
No, it's for all of us, just in case.
Listen,
Alright,
Stu,
okay,
I know
that's
I'm
good.
going fucking bald, right?
Go in.
This bit's bad enough.
Go
You
in.
can't even see this. Fucking, it's a joke.
All my own.
Do you want to put my fucking? I'll put my fucking hat on. Christ's sake.
Are you going to put your hat on? Don't. You look like a
I've
right
been
cunt.
asked by a fan.
You're indoors. Show some
A
fucking
fan?
respect.
He's asked me to do something.
Don't
Come on then.
put
Put
your
your
hat
head
I
on
don't
there.
even know where it is.
You
can
can put your hat on.
Can I just put
See,
the
One of the other problems
if
now
I
is
put
I'm
the
presuming I
PSVR
can't play with
helmet
my
on?
phone while we're recording. No.
What was that?
I can't just play with my phone while we're recording now.
No.
That's the-
No,
that's the
because
problem.
well, no.
Yeah.
If I just put this
Wait
on,
5 minutes.
has that covered my receding hairline? Is that right?
No, actually,
Do I
I
look
can
like
still
I've got
see
a-
the light bouncing off between the band and the front of it.
Fucking wasted time.
Who's that?
Okay, are we ready to roll?
So I'm just like handling that like it's a comedy prop, and then remember that you own it and it's really expensive.
Just chucking it over your shoulder.
So my light has already been decked by Davis this week.
Yes, we can
Right.
talk about that.
If I sort of do this, my face is more evenly lit.
I mean, should I move over a bit more?
There's
Welcome,
far too much skin there.
welcome to the.
Okay, are we ready?
Yeah.
Is everyone ready? Are you settled?
Yeah. Hang on.
Shout out for Midnight Resistance there.
Why?
Show, mate.
No one believing that.
What is a midnight resistance?
What is a Midnight Resistance? It's just
Is the official.
Let's not
it's
get
the-
into this.
It's
It's
the
only
official
got-
pre-show.
Only
kicking
got
off.
3 hours.
It's kicking off at night time.
Here we go. Ready?
Red calf West Ham. Red calf West Ham. Okay.
Is it 0-0 still?
And I think it's still 1-0. Benteke missed a
When
penalty.
1-0 to West Ham. I mean, and they're the choke team of the league.
Okay.
Do you know it's like my knowledge of football is so poor? Part of me is like, but it's dark. Do they play at night? Why are they still?
They don't have floodlights in Tranmere, do they?
No, they don't.
Right.
Can't afford the electricity bill.
The
Mate.
Super White Army.
A little bit of silence so I can do it in the edit. Good. Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner. I'm here with James Farley,
Hi.
Matt Murray,
Hello.
and Sean Bell.
Hello.
Now, for those of you listening to the normal podcast, you'll be listening on Wednesday or Thursday or whenever that motherfucker downloads. We're actually doing something different this week. We are streaming on YouTube. We've all come up to Matt's house, so we're all in the same room. And
First time ever.
their first time ever. And
Well, podcasting. We have met each other in real life before.
have we all met the 4 of us together? I don't think we have though.
Yeah, it
right?
must have been like
We
EGX
have-
or
Yeah,
something.
No,
yeah.
because EGX, the only time
Your
James
wedding.
come, Matt wasn't there. My
Your
wedding.
wedding.
My wedding.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
it.
yeah.
And we're all a bit nervous, to be honest with you, because this is going out live on YouTube, and it will be up on our YouTube page if you want to see the video of this, if you are listening to the podcast. So I was thinking of ways to break the ice and start getting rid of the nerves and, calm down. So I thought of a little game that we could play to start off this podcast.
Fucking
And it requires you getting your phones out, boys. So if you could all get your mobile phones
I've left mine at
out.
home.
You haven't.
worried what this is going to be.
Okay.
Why?
Have you all got your phones out?
Yeah.
Good. Open up the YouTube app, please, gentlemen.
Yep.
Go to the home. Scroll. Oh, I need to scroll to the top because I was looking at it.
This is a great video.
Yep, you're all in there.
Yep.
You in that home screen.
Yeah.
Right at the start. Right.
Yep.
Now pass your phone to the person on the right.
Oh.
And we'll start with James. Is there any interesting recommended videos for Sean?
It's an ASMR Dutch lesson.
What, like teaching Dutch?
Yeah, which is pretty interesting. And what's it? And also lotion sounds.
Oh, nice.
With whispering.
Could you favourite that for me? I'll.
Ocean sounds. Does that get you?
Lotion.
No, lotion sounds. I think
What's
he said.
lotion sounds?
Presume it's just getting some lotion and just.
It says
doing
lotion sounds.
Wow,
Nice.
unbelievable.
Nice.
Any others on that list that stick out?
It's mostly just ASMR rubbish.
Is it really? Is that what you use it
See,
for?
this is the thing, right? As long as you just open about your sins,
Hey, there's no
you can't be hurt. You're invincible.
There's literally no surprises.
Scalp massage for sleep.
Scouts massage. What, massaging scouts?
You have seriously got a thing with this, haven't you? It's like every single thing is ASMR. It's
what's that one? The ASMR?
It's all ASMR.
Oh, there's a Stardew Valley thing now.
Have you got like a special?
That's probably
account?
also
What
an
is
ASMR
that
video.
one? What is it? What's the title of that video?
Edna Scissorhands ASMR.
Edna.
How is that relaxing?
Oh, no, wait, okay. See, then I thought, okay, got vegan cruelty-free makeup, but that's also ASMR.
Yeah.
It's I know, I'm a bit disappointed.
Is
this a special account you've got that's just like it's
just my ASMR
Sean
stuff.
_ASMR?
No, the thing is, right, like among you guys this is fine, but like if I've got family round and I want to show them something on YouTube, I can't open the YouTube app on the PS4 or whatever because it's just like, why is all women
looking at the camera?
doing the
Women
makeup
folding, folding laundry.
No, you're fine here.
Well, let's move on to James then. We have Alan Partridge Takes Ecstasy. Is that from one of the shows? Altered B series review. There's a lot of what I've noticed. There's a lot of sort of retro gaming stuff on here.
It's a bit sad.
Eternal Champion series review. Genesis users. It's Genesis, NES, Predator 2.
Yeah.
Pye interviews Young Conservative.
Yeah. You know Jonathan Pye?
No.
He's like. You know Matt? Have you heard of him? No one heard him. Okay.
Go on.
No, he's a reporter who like a fake reporter who just like starts reporting about like news that's going on and then just goes off on a massive rant about how terrible the government are.
Right.
It's,
Okay. Mate, this is pretty boring. I was expecting.
This is retro.
There's a lot.
It's all just retro gaming.
Retro gaming and John Oliver.
Yeah.
You're clearly what I can tell from your list here is you're into retro gaming and you don't like the right wing. Trump supporter leaves CNN anchor speechless. Hello, this is an interesting one. Jimmy Savile's biggest giveaways.
learning from the best, James. Fucking hell.
Yeah, there's the Savile stuff.
No, come on. So what's the Savile
No, is it
stuff?
like his best competitions or?
I don't know.
Have none of you ever watched any of the really weird like videos there are of him on there? There's that one where he like talks to like all these kids, like they have all these kids in an audience and they're all asking him questions and it's really just weird.
Matt, you'll go.
Okay. Well, I've got Dave's phone here. I've already detecting a bit of a theme. So the first one is busted by unmarked police.
I like that. I do like that stuff when you're watching it and they've got because everyone's got these GoPros on their cars now, and you see a car just like cut someone off or like speed off, and then you just see an unmarked police car like blare up. That's good.
Continuing on the theme, road rage justice.
I do like that as well. I like a bit of road rage.
This one's great. One messed up patient. Watch monstrous screaming adjustment series prolapsed back disc.
Chiropractic videos. That's an ASMR thing. Do you watch it?
I'm familiar.
Who's that guy? The guy that he's still kicking. That guy. You know who I'm talking about?
Who that is.
I can't remember his name.
I've only seen a few of them, but yeah, I know.
And he cracks their back and they go, he's still kicking every time.
Bailiff tried to take a man's hired car. There's lots of like anger and rage.
There is. I like a confrontation and like people filming.
Bailiff regrets coming to a house.
I love that shit.
Texas Police Department harass people. Oh shit! I've actually started on here.
So it's all just about like criminals.
It's anger.
No, I suppose what it is, it's like when you see like these people turn up to someone's house and try and be the big man, and then they get shot down. There's something about that just I love. Like I just love watching that shit. And then when they fight as well, I love all that. So what's Matt got on his?
So first off, Matt's got the computer game show, which is currently live. In case
very,
you weren't aware,
very much on brand.
Probably worth having a look. Now, this was correctly called out by John Denton. The first video is by a guy called Casey. Is it Neistat?
Neistat.
How to make an electric skateboard for $100.
Casey Neistat is my
Were you
absolute-
actually generally thinking about making your own?
No,
electronic steak?
that's just like yesterday's daily vlog. Casey Neistat is the best YouTuber
Okay.
in the game right now.
Some guy called Mike Hurley saying Adina left me for a week, and it's got a picture of him. And I don't know if you can fucking see that. Probably not.
Yeah.
Definitely can't if you listen.
No, definitely not.
Well, no, I mean,
Audio
yeah, basically, if you listen to this on the podcast feeds, you're wasting your time.
Just go to YouTube and watch
and then
it.
basically, it's all just PSVR reviews.
Well,
Oh
that's
my God.
it. Though. It's probably the wrong time to do
Yeah,
this.
last minute
It's
cold feet.
flooded.
It's the wrong time of year for that.
Absolutely
Yeah.
flooded.
Yeah.
One thing that I have been watching
I'm so
recently, one thing that I have been watching recently on YouTube is dumpster dive videos. I don't know if you have you heard of these things.
Yeah.
So there's people. So there's a law in America, right, that if you don't have a dumpster under lock and key, if it's not secured, you're allowed to jump in and just grab what the fuck you want, right? And there's about 3 or 4 people on YouTube that go to GameStops, go into their bins and just start searching through the trash. And the shit they find is always terrible, but at the same time, they find a game and it's like the best thing ever. And there's certain things they're looking for, like. So they go into Apple stores and do it to Apple.
I would probably do it on Apple Store.
They ain't looking for phones, but they see the boxes where things are like broken or whatever, and they chuck the boxes away, and they'll find the cables and the
adapters.
and they're like, I can sell this for 20 quid. Like it's meant so addictive. Like honestly, you'll
the
start
guys
with
that
one.
are doing this, are these like homeless people doing this?
No, they're
regular-
they're just like people that because you'll find that they're not homeless. They just tend to be young people, and this is an easy way
just
to make
out for a bit of a laugh.
Yeah, and they don't
Go
really
out,
give a shit.
go through some bins.
There was one where the old Bill showed up and they started shining a torch on them, and then they
These are
stood
rubbish.
they stood and spoke to them about Final Fantasy for about 10 minutes. Yeah, it was mental.
Best
And they were
cop
like,
ever.
well, and as they went, they said, this ain't illegal, is it? And the cops went, no, just have a good night.
Have a great time.
Going through
Enjoy.
rubbish.
Are you watching any UK ones or just American?
They're all American. I've not seen any UK
I bet
ones.
UK
I'd
would
like-
be amazing.
It's
I
not
wonder what
legal
the-
I was
here.
going to say it's a lot
Is it not
different.
legal?
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
see, I used to work in a supermarket a long time ago, and we used to have to throw all the stuff out, and we were always told you have to secure the bins. Do
Yeah.
not let the people
really?
go through them.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah, because one of the big controversial things for these dumpster diver videos is that recently GameStops and you know what's the big
Best
Kmart
Buy.
or whatever, Best Buy and all
Yeah,
that sort of stuff. They
Target.
started cutting the cables to the headphones and stuff like that, just because they don't want people taking them out of the
Yeah.
bins, and they're fucking furious for that. And that's what's going on in America. I'm
Okay.
sure that's the only thing going on in America at the
Not
moment.
much else. at the moment.
Matt, have we had any feedback from last week's show?
No.
No,
Good.
Not.
James, any news this week?
No.
Good. Right, we are here for one reason and one reason only. So we
Because
should
you
really...
miss me and you want to come to Leeds.
Oh no. No, neither of those things are true. It's 6.5 hours in a car with James Farley
Worth it.
yesterday.
Hey. The way
Hey.
No, the way
Hey,
you're saying.
Hey now! Hey!
No, the way you're saying that is ridiculous. Seeing as you're the one who does all the singing, who does all the other like nonsense and shouting and swearing and stuff while we're driving.
Yeah.
I'm the one who suffers during these journeys.
You say you're the one that suffers. We hit Leeds during rush hour.
Yeah.
Why did we hit Leeds during rush hour, James?
We may have been a little bit tardy leaving your house.
You showed up an hour and a half late at my house,
Yeah.
and you have the cheek to complain about me driving you all the way up here.
Okay, that's true, but we did get to drive through some lovely northern towns.
Yeah,
Like
beautiful.
while we were doing that, it was
Anyway.
yeah.
Like Stoke.
Yeah.
we didn't actually go to Stoke, but that's fine. Anyway, right, we're here because of PSVR. It launched Thursday.
Yeah.
Matt, you were in London on Thursday, so you didn't.
I was working
You weren't
Thursday,
here
yeah.
to take the box in, but when you got home, you said you weren't going to play it, and it became very, very obvious that you did play it the moment you got in.
It had to
So
be
what,
set
so
up.
what have you got to say to yourself? I mean, do you
It
know
had
what?
to be set up. What was I going to do?
Well,
Wait.
this is fine, but you know what annoys me about this, right? So Matt played a few games on his PSVR.
Nah, I've not a few.
You
Couple.
were,
Most of them.
right? Who was the one that suggested that you didn't do that?
That was me. Yeah, that was him.
So why suggest it and then just
Because
break
I
it?
feel it's good for the podcast at the time that I felt I did the right thing, and then when I got it in reality, I thought, nah, it's not.
And you said that. I mean, James called you out on it straight away. You're not a trustworthy
Oh,
person.
I thought actually, I didn't play any of the actual games. I just played 2 demos.
What did you play?
I played a couple of the PlayStation World demos, and that was just to make sure it worked.
But no, but
It's the classic pre-Christmas thing, isn't it? Like, Mom, Dad, can I play on the new console? Because imagine if I opened it on Christmas Day and it didn't work. That'd be awful, wouldn't it?
Let's play, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
guys,
you
the
need
cable
to let
wasn't
me
there.
have a go on it now.
I had to, in a way.
Has that ever happened to anyone though? More Christmas morning, unwrap it. Oh, sorry guys, the cable wasn't.
Look, we've all been a Christmas morning, like your dad didn't buy batteries. Like, I don't want that situation now.
No, my dad was prepared because he loved me.
My dad never bought batteries.
So you play. We got here about 6 o'clock, and
It's 6 o'clock. That was a piss take.
so
I thought
should
you
we
were playing by midday Thursday.
yeah, I know.
Friday,
Well,
but
James
anyway,
finally
let's
showed up an
not
hour
get
and a
that.
half late.
Yeah, I heard about it. 90 minutes late.
I don't know.
I can't help like northern traffic. You know, it's the thing.
Northern traffic. It's got
That's weird because I got here exactly
Yeah.
when I said I would.
Bang on time.
And I only travelled in the north.
Yeah.
So.
The M1 is
He's exclusively travelling in the north.
Okay,
Anyway.
let's calm down. So should we talk about the hardware first because
Yeah, shall we?
It's interesting. It's a lot more comfortable than I thought it would be.
It's alright, isn't it?
Yeah, I was quite surprised. It's not the most attractive looking thing. But
I mean, for those of you watching on YouTube, I think it looks nice.
well, the first thing I noticed is that it does feel well built, well put together. The finishes are plastic, so there's only so much you could do with that. But
Feel the weight.
it does look like a proper, well designed, put together bit of kit.
Yeah.
For those of you that haven't got a PSVR or have not been able to get your hands on one to try one, it's kind of strange. You sort of put it on and it rests. It doesn't feel like it's resting right, does it? The moment you put it on, because it's sort of resting at the top of your forehead and at the top of the back of your head, and then you've got to sort of position it, pull it. There's 3 different ways of tightening it, isn't
See,
there?
I didn't find this at all.
What do you mean?
Did you find this, Sean?
Well, I was going to say, when we first started playing with it yesterday, I was having issues. Sorry, Matt. Sorry.
You're blocking the view, Sean.
That's 40 quid.
So I found every time I was putting it on, I was having issues. It was blurry or whatever. It wasn't comfortable. And I was thinking, well, is this because we're passing it between each other and we're each adjusting it every time we put it on? But actually, I think we've all just got better at putting it on. Like today, I've not had any issues.
Yeah.
Even though I'm adjusting it every time, you get
Yeah,
better
because
at it.
one of the things that you first notice when you put it on is that it's probably the screen's going to be out of focus because you'll feel like you're putting it on in the correct position, but you're not, and and 9 times out of 10 it's because you put it on too high. When you pull it down a little bit, suddenly everything comes in focus, and you go, okay, yeah.
I mean, after a weekend of playing it, I'm still fine. I'm still yet to find like the absolute sweet spot. A lot of people, on the videos I've seen prior to that, they basically have the back part much lower on their heads, whereas I find for the best focus, I'm actually having it on the
That's
crown
what
of
I'm
my
saying,
head.
at like sort of the top of
But
your
everyone
head.
else says, so the back bit is quite low down, but I'm still finding it's better the other way. But I'm still now adjusting it because you can click a button at the back and pull out to put your head in it. Then you can press a button just beneath the visor and move the visor forward and back.
Yeah.
And then there's also a screw at the back to tighten.
I found that really helpful,
more.
actually,
So,
Yeah,
I'm still trying to work out the best way of doing it.
That is the main thing, isn't it, for me? Well, no, the main thing is I'd say the button on the bottom of the visor to actually bring the display up against you.
I do sort of wish
tightening
it
it up makes
clicked
a difference.
one tighter. I find
You can do if you
No,
really push it does click.
Okay.
But
Okay.
is it just you've got an exceptionally small head?
There's a lot of brain in there, but it's
It's very compact.
The thing is, though, with that thing, like the screw at the back where you can tighten it, can you untighten it, though?
you have to press the button
right.
at the back.
Oh,
to
Oh,
untighten it.
right,
okay,
okay, gotcha. So when it comes to collaborating it, because I'd heard
Or calibrating.
Calibrating it. Yeah.
fucking hell, calibrating it.
We're about to get into executable and executable thing. We don't want that. I don't want that on the show.
But when it comes to setting it all up,
Yes.
were there many options and stuff? Because there was a lot of chatter about a certain amount of centimeters away from your eyes. that you have to.
Actually, well, the weird thing is when you turn it on and first turn it on, there's basically very little calibration. I almost say there's very little setup actually at all. But you can go into the settings on the PlayStation, and there's a VR settings menu within the main PS4 OS, and then there's way more calibration settings. You can measure 70 centimeters between the camera and yourself, and that basically essentially takes an image of your eyes. So IPD is interpupillary distance, and basically it measures like how far your eyes are away from each other and your nose. On the Vive and Oculus, you can basically set that, or it does it automatically. But here, it takes a picture of your eyes, and then yeah, it does a sort of version
What's
of that.
strange though
We
is
can do that, and
that
there's also another one where you basically hold the headset up to the camera and it measures all the lights, but those two are not in the default setup process. There's basically very little. You turn it on, you like plug it in, you've got to make sure the cables are there, and after that, there's very little else to do.
I think that's probably just to refine it a little bit, because we've been passing this headset around, 6 of us, like last night, and I've not seen any major problems. I think the main issue I had with the headset is if you do get some. I mean, when I put it on, you tend to breathe out for some reason through your nose, and you get a little bit of condensation in there, and it steams up a bit, and that's fucking frustrating, because then you've got to pull it out, wipe it down again, and put it back in. Also, I've got really long eyelashes.
I was finding mine would
and
touch
they would tickle in the screens quite a bit, and that's quite irritating. I was a little bit gutted. I was playing Res this morning, and I really wanted to get into it, so I didn't want to pause. But at the same time, it's starting to steam up inside.
Yeah, I haven't had that,
but yeah, I don't think it's a major issue, because I've used it several times and it hasn't been a problem.
Yeah.
I'm interested. I've just noticed it's come up in the comments as well. Now, I normally wear glasses because I'm short-sighted. Are you short or?
I've got astigmatism, so I think that's just basically. I don't have to wear these, and I don't wear them that often. But there's basically a loss of detail at distance. But I can also survive without glasses.
So it wouldn't affect you, right?
I haven't actually tried thing with glasses. Actually, I haven't tried.
It says in the setup thing, doesn't it? Like, if you wear glasses, keep them on. Which, I mean, I think is a bit optimistic, because I think a lot of glasses wouldn't fit in there. Mine do.
Yeah,
but there's quite a bit of room in there, though.
Yeah. I reckon mine would fit.
I've found I'm all right without. I don't know if, because I can't even begin to understand the physics of it. To me, like, I'm putting it on my fucking face, so surely if I'm short-sighted, I'm fine. But then obviously it's making things appear further away.
Yeah, but that's not,
and I don't know how that
focus. Like, because I don't think that can't be an issue, right?
Yeah, it looks fine to me without the glasses. So.
Yeah. I haven't tried it with glasses.
Well, around the Vives, there's some sort of loose rubber sort of material, and that's got its benefits and it's got its problems as well. Like, so the benefits are the fact that you can use it. It wouldn't be pressing down. It doesn't feel like it's pressing down on Sony face.
No,
it doesn't feel like it would affect you if you wear glasses.
And that's a huge difference to Vive, where you feel like you got heavy goggles on the front. I mean, it's obviously it's usable and it's fine. But this is the weight distribution is much better. It's much more like wearing a baseball cap than wearing goggles.
After using it for like a few minutes, when you're in it, I kind of forgot it was on.
Yeah, you do.
I never had that. Like, I mean, when I said that those were the benefits, I think the downside of this rubber sort of system around the feet, around your face, is that it does leak light. And I was having trouble this morning when we had the curtains open and everything. The sun was shining through, and it was clearly getting through to the lens. And the moment the light hits the lens, it's just completely off. But
I haven't had that, but I think because I wear the back bit quite hard, the front bit is further down, and so I haven't had that as much.
That's maybe the problem. But then that brings me to the second issue: is the fact that when it was pushing down on my nose last night, and it closing it up a little bit.
There's a couple of flaps around the nose, and I haven't quite worked out the best way. Sometimes it feels like they're really locking my nose down. Other times it feels natural.
It's worth showing those flaps to anyone watching on YouTube.
That's not the first time you said that, actually.
No, it's not. They're really weird. Like, they sort of, I don't know if you can see that. They're like these weird little.
That's it. Flick the flaps.
But basically,
you get 18 rating. Sure, stop doing that.
Sorry, that's
too many pentaments.
That's disgraceful behaviour.
But basically, I mean, I think it all comes down to experience rather than it does a fault with the hardware. I don't think it's a problem with the hardware. As Matt said, we really haven't sat down and worked out how to position this properly because we're so excited and we just want to get in VR. But I think
that's what's really positive about this, though, isn't it? It's the fact that, like, last night we had like 6 people just keep on rotating constantly, and it wasn't a big
problem.
issue.
No, it wasn't.
Nothing of this was a big issue.
It wasn't a problem at all, was it?
Because it's weird. Because on the one hand, you think, well, surely, like, long term, it's your headset. You're the one who's going to be using it most of the time. But actually, it's really good for sort of environments like this, where, like, you know, during Christmas and stuff. I'm sure that's going to get passed around loads. And
I mean, so when I said you can do that thing where it takes a picture of the eyes, that actually saves per profile. So if you have multiple profile,
really?
Yeah. So maybe that would make a difference. And that,
I wonder if
a lot of people say that makes a difference with like the 3D and the focus, but I'm not sure.
I know it sounds ridiculous and we'd never use it, but I wonder if it's linked to your profile when you log into PSN.
Oh, Turners, don't look at the chat.
Why? What's up?
No,
we already knew when we were 1-0 up. Yeah, but anyway, it's fine. Matt's a Crystal Palace fan. You listening to the podcast won't know what's going on.
Basically, Palace have lost 1-0.
So don't worry about it. So what were we saying?
Good headset. You're saying like if it's saved to your PSN?
Yeah,
So
it'd
if
be
you logged
interesting
in
to
at
see
a
if
different
it's
house, maybe?
saved to your PSN.
Yeah.
I mean, I would not expect that in the slightest.
They say it's saved to your profile, so I'm not sure how much of your local profile is synced in
Downloaded
the
and
cloud.
stuff.
But
I mean,
yeah,
and again, we'd never use it, but at the end of it, like, that would
I
be
think
pretty cool if
There'd be a
followed
disclaimer
that.
for something like that, I think.
really?
What
What,
Yeah.
why? Just saying that
Like
it's
saving
saved.
pictures of yourself and stuff like that.
No, it's
Maybe
not
that'd be-
pictures,
No,
is
no,
it?
no,
It's
well,
just
it's
the
Just
data.
data, yeah.
Yeah,
It's just
I
the
think
data.
fine, but anyway.
Yeah,
But
so
in terms of the headset itself, I mean, that's comfort-wise. What do you think, sort of actual hardware, like the
It's-
screen and display-wise? That's
it's-
obviously a bit of a contentious subject. For,
it's definitely better than I thought it would be because the only thing that I've got can compare it to is the Oculus Dev 1. Is that what it was called? The sort of first.
It's a DK1.
Yeah, DK1. So the first time I used that was the last thing I used, and that's definitely better. The resolution's better, although you can see the individual pixels of the screen. It's not as intrusive as it was on that.
No.
It's certainly lighter, certainly more comfortable to use. The only thing that I think it doesn't quite do as well as that unit did was the curved feeling around my eyes.
Yeah,
I do feel that it
the
is
field
kind
of
of a
view for DK1 was
flat-
actually much bigger than the current consumer version Rift as
Oh,
well.
really?
Yeah, it was much. I'm not sure what it was, but now it's like between 100 and 110.
right.
And there, I think that was like closer to 130.
Yeah, like I can,
and they
I can
shrunk it.
definitely see. It feels like I'm wearing sort of diving goggles when I'm using
Yeah,
it. Like
you
you've
can
got
notice
that
that,
sort of feel.
But you also, I find that if you look for it, you can easily see. But I also can quite easily forget it. Say like we're playing Thumper, and we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah.
See,
I find that doesn't. It's not an issue. I
I've
can see
never
if I look
used
for it.
like VR before, and so like using this for the first time was a bit. I know. You see, for me, it really depends on the game that you were playing because a lot of the games they kind of feel a bit like sort of PS3 360 quality, like visually. Like
which isn't bad considering.
No, it's not bad. It's totally not bad. I mean, I wasn't really blown away by the how good things look, but it was really just the feeling of immersion is.
Yeah, I mean,
what is
it's
the
not
thing.
important. You can't expect a PS4 game. You can't expect the PS4 to pump out the graphics that it currently does in VR.
Yeah,
because you're adding shit to it. Like it's not
Yeah,
going to
there's
just
so
be
much.
able
I mean,
to do it.
it's got to use like 90 frames or 120 frames, well, basically 60 frames, and it's got. It's basically a fuck loads of frames. In fact, frame rates we haven't had an issue. I don't think all weekend. Frame rate's
Which
been
is
solid.
crazy. I mean, that's
But
been
it's
the most
doing that.
impressive
It's
thing.
also like pumping out a second version to the screen, so it's doing a lot already. And
Well, that's weird. We'll get to it as well, but we were literally talking. We were playing a game this afternoon, and Sean pointed out that the frame rate was better inside the PSVR headset than it was on the TV.
and the
when we
resolution
were
is better
watching.
in the headset than it is on the TV as well. But
How do you mean?
what
The actual?
the resolution on this headset is better than what it pumps out with this social screen.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They're just asking like how long is the setup for this? Like how long did it take to put it together?
It took about 15 minutes actually. Yeah, so there's a shitload of cables. There's basically one cable that comes out from a breakout box, and that goes to the headset. That's sort of X cable you really see, but there's shitloads behind it connected to PS4 and whatnot. But yeah, 15 minutes or so, and I was ready to go. Yeah.
Cool. Right. So should we go through the list of games that we've been?
Yeah, I've got the list.
Okay, so the first one I played, and I think the first one we played when we got here was the PlayStation World's Ocean Descent.
Kind of disappointed you started us on that.
I will.
No.
You've got to
I
start
totally
slow.
disagree because I think that was an amazing way to start.
I
really liked it.
thought it was so shit.
If you went straight to Riggs, you were like bombed everywhere, and this carpet's
No, I wouldn't.
relatively
I'm
new.
not you. Like I
No,
can
you're not.
handle this
Everyone
shit.
says that. Start slow in VR and then work up. 'cause-
Mate, honestly, it was just a nothing thing for me. I had
but
no.
For you, okay, but you've already used VR. But this was like for me for the first time to actually experience it. It was really nice.
Oh,
to,
bless
like,
him.
have
That
that.
is his
No,
first beer.
it was really nice to like. It's like
He had a
relaxing.
carling for his first beer. That's exactly what it was. There's me, a veteran, turning up.
It was relaxing and just like nice to have a look around, see the fish.
So explain what it was. What happens? And what do
Okay,
you
so
do?
you start off in a cage, which is then you start off submerged already, don't you?
Yeah.
You're like underwater, and then the cage just gradually lowers down and down and down. You see all the fish flying around. You kind of stumble around, thinking how far can you walk in this area. And I mean, I was quite impressed. Like you can even have a look over the sides, stuff like that.
I was impressed by that. And it was on a different game, but again, we'll talk about it later. But I was impressed with how much you can walk around. Like I didn't think you could walk around at all using PSVR.
For PSVR, the officially doesn't have room scale VR like
No,
like
but
Vive.
you can actually walk around
move around a little bit.
places. Yeah,
And
it's
actually,
crazy.
Lara Croft, the PS4 version of Rise of the Tomb Raider has You can walk around in Croft Manor, and that does have some room scale
What,
stuff.
it's got VR stuff in...
Yeah, in
Yeah,
the PS4
but-
version.
Wow,
I mean,
I
you
didn't know
can walk
Some
around.
people said it wasn't that good.
Yeah, you can walk around
No,
Croft
no, no,
Manor,
yeah.
and basically that comes out of there's a system on Vive where basically if you walk too far, it comes out of like grid lines. That's got that on PSVR.
No, wow.
So people are experimenting with it, but you can't walk
it's
a
never going
huge
to be the
way,
same thing.
no.
But okay, so like, what were you thinking? Did it?
Yeah, so as your first VR experience, I mean,
Yeah, what
That's
did you
why it
make
was
of
amazing, because it was the first time. I mean, you're still painfully aware of the fact that this isn't real, like, but it still feels nice to
Yeah.
and you really do feel like you're somewhere else. It's even though it's not real.
Yeah, like for half the cost of any other VR solution,
Well,
I'm convinced
this
enough.
is
Like
one
I'm
bit-
not sitting there going, yeah, it's a bit blocky, innit? Like
Yeah.
I gather it is a little bit cheaper than the other
Yeah.
ones,
But it's
in terms-
enough.
but
It's enough
yeah.
to make you feel this is like
Yeah.
this is something like I'd really like to spend time like in worlds,
Yeah.
that are like not here, and it's enough.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, a lot of people that are trying PSVR over this weekend and the following few weeks, they've never tried VR. So, or they've tried VR back in the 80s,
Or
when it was,
Google
when it
Cardboard,
was the
maybe,
90s
yeah.
and
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
and it was
Got a virtual boy
it's-
kicking around.
yeah, it's not the same thing. So they haven't got that reference point of using an Oculus or a Vive and seeing how good those units look. They're just seeing this for that sort of next step. Like it is. I mean, with the whole 3D effect and all that sort of shit. It fucking it's impressive. I don't think you need to be as good as Oculus, and I mean, obviously, if you're banging to VR, you go for the higher end stuff.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
But for the basic consumer, this does the job.
Yeah,
like
definitely, yeah,
and it does it well. Like it doesn't feel anywhere near as bad as it should do for what is essentially a budget VR helmet.
Yeah, it's half the price of the others. Yeah, the biggest downside is tracking. But if you haven't tried the better tracking, things in Vive and Oculus, you won't notice that either. I don't think. And there are definitely some issues, and that's easily the biggest negative. But it's still enough to.
Yeah, well, the tracking
Convince,
comes up in games that
Yeah,
we'll be
we'll come
talking
through
about because that's fucking terrible. What was the next game on the list?
Okay, the next game on the list. This is not chronological because
Yeah, I just wrote down
we're
a
just
massive
writing
list
down
of
what we
everything
could
we played.
remember. So Riggs is the next one. So
Okay.
Sean's the only one who's played that. aren't
So
you?
obviously I'm a fucking mark for this because it's robots and it's sort of basketball, which is the one sport I've ever been able to
This
get
is the one
interested
that
in.
you were most looking forward to trying.
Yeah. Which, and slightly disappointed to find out that it's fucking £50. Which I know me and Matt have been talking about this a lot. I think that is really going to hurt it. I think it's going to be a really tough sell when you got the cost of the headset on top of it. But
Yeah.
so yeah,
Plus,
basically,
people want as many different VR
Exactly, yeah,
experiences
you
as
wanna
they
try
can,
stuff
rather
out.
than, yeah.
So there's a demo of this on the PSVR demo disc, and basically, so if you're not familiar with it, it's like a 3-on-3 robot sports game where there's giant robots in an arena, and you grab a ball and you smash it through a hole, and also you're shooting each other at the same time. It's a really good example of how VR's ace just for getting across the scale of things. Like it's really important that when you first see your robot, you're stood at a normal height and you're like looking up at it. Whereas like in any other game, that it would be someone's job to figure out how best to frame how you see the robot.
Yeah.
Whereas this, it's like, no, you're just a guy stood on the ground, and the robot appears, and you just see its fucking legs. Then you go, oh shit! You look up at it, and it's like, fuck. And then and then you get hoisted up, and then you land in it, and then again, it does that smart thing where it makes sure that the character you're playing as, like, his hands are laid out the same way yours are holding the controller. So you're holding the controller, and then you look down and you see these two arms holding these two joysticks.
See, I remember that bit when you did that, and you said you were like, "Oh, I'm not going to be able to get in it myself," and then you were like, "Wait!"
So like, just the spectacle of that is cool, but obviously the sort of like, if they want like a real competitive scene around it, that stuff is not going to be impressive in a week, like it needs to rest on stronger things than that. But the demo's too short to really get a feel for it, because it's just a demo and you're just playing against bots, and you get like
to
one
me
round.
from watching outside.
Yeah.
It looked like when 3D cinema come out and you watched a trailer for 3D, like a 3D film. And there was needless kicking towards camera or skittles being thrown at camera. It kind of looked like that. Like, I mean, it looked like it could be fun. I didn't play it, so I can't really comment on that side of things. But it was kind of like the whole, suddenly you shoot up in the air and suddenly you fall back down again.
It's like you get in the robot and you're like looking either side, and you can see like your robot's arms either side of you and stuff, and that's amazing. And then you go up in this lift, and then you sort of appear in this arena, and it's massive. And like, not that it's any bigger than anything you've seen in games before. It's just that now you've got the VR headset, you've got that, the depth of it, and it's like, fuck, I'm in a fucking stadium. Like, this is wicked. But yeah, like the game itself, you can't really get any idea of whether or not it's got any legs, because you do a quick round and you shoot some AI guys who don't really do a lot, and you score a few goals.
And at 50
you
quid,
win.
I mean, I know you can get cheaper, like the physical. It's 50 quid for the digital version on PSN, and then yes, sure, you will get cheaper physical version. And I'm really interested. We haven't had time for me to play a demo, but 50 quid is you can't do that. Like, there needs to be. If it's 30, I think it would be insta buy.
You say
for
that, but
people.
They're treating this like a platform launch. And when the PS4 come out, all games were 50 quid.
I know, but
I know what you mean.
Yeah, I do get that.
What's actually in the full game though? Is it just that multiplayer mode?
I think there is a career mode in it.
There's a career. There's a multi different like types of rigs, and I get the impression they sort of want it to be like an esport-ish game. And yeah, I mean, loads of people on Rollmark and other forums have said that they've enjoyed great games, and they think get 6 of you together and you play that a fair few times, you have an absolute blast. So maybe it gets cheaper, or you see a second-hand copy. I'll definitely love to pick it up.
I wonder if they're going to start, if any of this stuff's going to start appearing on PS Plus, like in the future.
I mean,
I don't think they can do that.
You think so?
No, because I think the percentage of people that own the PS4 thing, if it's a PSVR thing only,
it'd be a
that's
game
taking the place of a normal PS4.
No, it'd be a game like Bound, where it has a VR version. You can play
possibly. People would be like that.
But what if it's like an addition? They just like add this and say, okay, you're going to get free.
They'll never do that. They don't give a shit
about
the games.
I don't know. How many PS3 games do they do a month now? How many PS3 games? Like one PS3 game? Do they do?
Just the one.
You get PS3 game, you get usually one or two Vita games.
They could drop a Vita game, and
plus you could argue that if they started just slipping in PSVR games on top of the usual selection, I know, but you can see.
I can't believe you're talking about.
Yeah, but you can see the argument that eventually you'd be like, well, fuck, I've got like 6 VR games that I can't play.
Like, maybe I can get this.
Maybe I'll grab the headset.
But also, you're even less likely to invest in the software. You're less likely to invest. If you're like, I'm not going to buy a game, it might be on PS Plus next month. So
absolutely not.
Right, do you want to do an outbet?
It'll be at least a year before a PS4.
Okay, I was gonna say like by like summer next year. I reckon they could add something.
I think that'd be a bad thing.
It won't be any time soon, but I reckon next year maybe they might.
Summer next year.
Yeah.
So we need a month.
We're saying like August 1st,
all right, 2017. I'd say by
No, it has to be August 7th because that's when the new.
Don't worry, okay. Because it needs to be. If we're doing an app bet, which I'm happy to do.
Okay, as long as you're happy.
There needs to be some clear rules because it can't launch on PS4. It has to be a game that come out at retail.
Yep.
That is now on PS Plus.
Okay.
I will say we're still waiting for NAC. I'll just say it.
Yeah. Still waiting. Shut up.
NAC VR.
So
day one.
So when you say summer next year, what month?
Okay. September.
That's not summer.
It's still in September. It's the end. All right. Okay.
Did you say summer? November 2017.
So by August 2017, there'll be a game that's come out at retail.
Yep.
Doesn't matter the price. That has PSVR capabilities.
Yep.
Go on.
No,
that.
Okay.
What?
Surely the rules has to be: is it like a VR compatible title on PlayStation Plus?
No, because they
can
launch it. No, because they could launch it on PS Plus, and then that don't make it. That's different. Right. What I'm saying is that at the moment they want to sell it. All right, okay, I'm happy.
It'd be interesting if, considering. So they're still supporting the Vita and the PS3. How far are we from them just going, do you know what? We're not supporting those anymore.
I think they'll drop the PS3 before the Vita.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised they dropped the Vita first.
Yeah, but the Vita you can still do shit on the Vita that links up with your PS4. It makes better.
Still part of the ecosystem.
I'm surprised they've never done a bundle with that. Like a PS4 plus a
Vita. They have done. They did do. Yeah, very early on they did. Well, I don't know if that was actually retailers rather than. But I remember definitely being a bundle with PS Vita along with PS4.
Okay.
But yeah, maybe it wasn't an official one. Okay. What was the next game?
Batman Arkham VR.
Which who tried this?
Yeah, I tried that. Yeah.
Did you try it, Sean?
Mac.
No, I didn't.
I was.
Please, Dad.
Unbelievable. I'm definitely going to go for a piss at some point. I ain't going to lie to you.
Thank you.
I was very, very disappointed with this. And the reason being, it was very, very impressive in certain ways. There were some neat little touches there. I think it looked it was one of the best looking
Graphically,
VR games. Graphically, it was
really
it was
detailed.
incredible.
You've done great.
But there's clearly an issue unless we are missing some sort of setting or we're doing something wrong with tracking. And it was being mentioned before we arrived, like by various different reviewers and stuff, that it is potentially an issue. And it just felt fucked. Trying to use these move controllers as your hands, that really highlighted the issues that move controllers have, right? Because
they're definitely limited.
And not only that, there was this weird stuff that certain games have. Not all games have had it, but certain games have had a problem where the world sort of flickers, and not flickers, but sort of jolts.
Yeah.
You know, so you've got the movable areas around you. So in Batman VR, the bit that I played, there was sort of like a desk in front of you with some things, and the desk was like moving up and down and shifting left and right, and you're just like, and for me it didn't make me feel sick, it was fucking annoying because like I wanted to use the stuff that's on the desk, right? And then there's like dials and pull handles and stuff, and you'd reach out to try and get them, and then the desk would move away from you and stuff, or his hand, like Batman's hand, would come out all like upside down, and like when I first grabbed the move controllers, his hands were like that. It was just like,
and when you can when you compare it to like videos you see of Vive stuff, which is just flawless, people just going like, grab that, do this, fucking high fives. So you're showing me like Rec Room, with people are giving each other fist bumps and stuff, and it's like, and it seems totally seamless, whereas this did seem
which is a shame, because it was one of the things that I was reading, like the whole move controller stuff did seem interesting, but the technology's there, and part of me thinks that maybe there should be a Move Motion Plus in the pipeline or something, because what we've got here doesn't really work. And again, this could be, I've heard that people have tweaked settings and made it better.
Yeah.
But
I've had games where move has been totally fine, and other games where it's been less fine. And I feel like maybe I was too close, maybe the calibration slipped out, who knows. But they're definitely flaky, and you don't get it with Vive, because there are two cameras. They're focused on, they're tracked by lasers. There's one-to-one. There's no issues at all with that with Vive. And
which, I mean, it makes you think, because obviously with the Vive, it's not like the people who made it sat around and went, just make people put for 2 fucking cameras up in their living room. That'll be fine. Like, they've probably tried it without and gone, actually, this is a bit fucking
and you need
crap.
it. But then also, those, I mean, Oculus are about to release their touch controls, and they're £200, and our moves are like £30. You know, so Sony, what I've done, I admire what I've done. I think it's great, because they've put out a VR system with tracking for using old parts and stuff, which I think it really is a test bed. Is VR really a thing? Will people buy it? Are people excited about it? And I think 2 years time, when they release PSVR 2, they'll have a proper full tracking system like they're used to already. But this is like, we had a million moves in the warehouse. What can we do? We've got to lose them somehow. I was able to put in dumpsters or nick them. So
it's not
no
legal.
one's playing your hands back
They've used the PS4 camera, which no one really used. They're using this technology that I built years ago, and they've done a good job. I mean, it's not perfect, but I think it does a job.
What's the future with this though? Because you said that Oculus have got some coming out, but these are still of the type where it's like you point at something basically and then press a button and it picks something up. Like, are we ever going to get to it where it's going to be like gloves or whatever?
Well, I mean, even last week there was Valve Dev Days, obviously like Steam Dev Days, and even Valve then and that showed off a prototype new Vive controller. Currently, it's a little bit like the Move controller, whereby you hold a one type shaped thing, and there's a trigger, and that tracks really well. The new prototype they've shown, it looks like it sort of wraps around your hand, and there's like way many more sensors. So even that already, I think it's going to give much more control to where your fingers are. And
hasn't it got the weird sort of analog pad from the Steam controller as well?
The common one has,
So I still can't believe this is a product that made it to market. This does look like an Apprentice, For
those of you listening, he's talking about the Move controller, but I mean, it's shocking. We're in 2016. They're using the old Move, even like they've just repackaged the Move controllers and they're selling for £60, but they are the old Move controllers. They still say like start and select. They've still got the mini USB, which is a nightmare to get a cable for, instead of micro, which everything charges by nowadays.
See, I was also surprised with these. It's crazy, no like D-pad or anything on them. I mean, I know you said there's like a
there's a nav controller, but the nav controller doesn't. The nav controller for PS3 it doesn't have accelerometer and can't be tracked and can't use it with this. But it's crazy. But they've done a budget version and to get something out, and
Yeah, I did, and I think they're investing.
You can tell it's a budget version.
Yeah. Okay. Well, sorry, Batman. So what? I mean, what did you think? That?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't play the whole thing. It's quite long actually, and there's a few of us who wanted to get a go, so we switched around. I did a bit where I was in the Batcave, and then eventually I went to this scene after the Batcave area where you basically see a fight that's taken place outside an alleyway, and you do like a detective mode thing.
Yeah.
So you can see a fight. You can like hold the move control to like, rewind or fast forward the fight. And there's some dialogue in your ears, and it says you've got to like locate where certain injuries took place, like someone gets like their arm broken and stuff, and it's really fantastic. Again, like as Sean said with Riggs, just seeing the scale, just being on like a rooftop or being like an alleyway, it's really atmospheric and really immersive. Just being there, in this new environment.
That's what's so disappointing about the tracking stuff, right? Because then, like, there were moments when I was playing it where I just felt, wow, this is... My favourite bit was the Batarang minigame, right?
Yeah.
It was the target practice thing. I was really getting into it. It was a little bit bad when I nearly smashed your line.
You did, yeah.
When I was trying to get one of the top ones. I just went... And it was so
£60
good.
for me.
It freaked me out as well, because when I flicked it with my...
Oh my god, did it feel even more immersive?
No,
You're like, I've hit something.
No,
I've hit something.
It's the opposite, because there was nothing there when I was playing it. All of a sudden, something gone bang like that. It really fucking was. I was like, whoa!
This is virtual reality,
but that stuff was really good, and it felt really natural. I was reaching down, picking up the things, and I was chucking them around. But I thought, this is really actually working. And then, but then there were moments where I was, supposed to be picking up a blood vial and putting it into some sort of machine.
Yeah.
And the moment I reached out, it would sort of go. And then even though I had the trigger pulled, it's something the sync didn't have, and it sort of just dropped things and stuff, and it was kind of like.
But
and
the thing is, if
it
you're
just
saying
ruins it. Like that really pulls you out of the good stuff, and it
Mm.
pulls you away from that, and so it like genuinely ruins the good stuff in it. You know what I mean?
So if the move is really probably not good enough, like for this, not really. Wouldn't it have been better to just stuck with the controller and use the controller in the way? Because the benefit I've seen from this so far has been the atmosphere you get from feeling like you're in the world. As soon as you start using those controllers and they don't work, it breaks that illusion straight away.
Yeah, but
the shape of the controller, you have people fucking lobbing it like a batter.
Not only that, you'd be doing everything like this. Like you just see Batman doing this.
Why bother doing that? Like, why not just use?
Because even that bit when it works and makes it more immersive than holding a pad. You're familiar with a pad. You've held it for years. I know, Move is something that some people are familiar with, but the act of having a trigger, it does work, and when it doesn't work, it's annoying and it does take you out. But when it works, it feels much more natural. I'm glad they've done it, and it's a test really. It's all a test.
I mean, I know a lot of people who absolutely.
It's expensive.
I know a lot of people who absolutely adore Batman VR. So I don't know.
It's got really high reviews.
Yeah.
So. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Right, should we do one more? We need to have a break at some point. Like a quick 2-minute break.
I wasn't anticipating a break, but go on.
No, but I'm going to work myself in there.
Okay.
Have a break. I've been drinking for a while now. I did warn you, 7 o'clock. It was going to happen. Right, okay, so let's do one more. Let's do one more game, and then we'll go for a quick 2-minute break.
I don't even know who's played this, because I thought Margo played this. This is Until Dawn.
Until Dawn was Mark,
but
well done.
And
Next,
looks like shit.
Until Dawn, it did not.
That was when we said, can we watch something where people get murdered and stuff?
Yeah, it did not look great. Until Dawn is reviewed in my book surprisingly well because it looked fairly basic, but a lot of people said, it's like good fun. And
we should really try it. We can't really comment on it, can we? I mean, we were looking at the fucking TV screen.
Next.
Mark seemed a little bit interested in it. He said it was alright, but
again, tracking.
Not blown away.
Yeah.
Okay, and then should we do one more?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Depends if it's res or not.
Okay, so there was Eve Valkyrie.
Yeah, so
you tried this.
I played this, and this, you see, when I heard that there was a game that was like a space sim, like combat sim, that I was really excited about this, because one of my favourite games when I was growing up was like X-Wing, and then later TIE Fighter, and I've always wanted that. The idea that you're sitting in like an X-Wing or TIE Fighter, doing the missions and everything. And this, I mean, the biggest problem with this demo is how short it was. I mean, it was over within about a couple of minutes.
Yeah. And there was no closure, was there? It was literally like, right, you've had 2 minutes flying.
Yeah.
It really was quick, wasn't it?
Yeah. But the time that I spent with it, it was impressive.
Is that 2 minutes
And,
enough to make you think I would buy that? I
Yeah,
would get that?
absolutely,
Well,
yeah.
it did the job then.
And it's, I mean, it was amazing because it's like you're sitting down again, you're using the controller, but like you can look down and you can see like the whole cockpit, everything around you, like. But it's not even like seeing what you know like yourself like sitting in the cockpit. The best thing is the fact you've got ships flying past and you can like actually like look at them,
Track them
and,
and
you
stuff.
can like track them and stuff,
Yeah, yeah.
which you can't do like in other games at
No.
all. And
Yeah.
it was impressive. I
See,
mean,
because one of the things I noticed while watching you play that was that there was none of that jittery mess that
Yeah.
I've seen on several. There seems to be a definite dividing line between games that seem solid and have worked things out and games that haven't. And we were talking about Until Dawn. When I was watching that being played, I didn't see that jittering about. I didn't see the sort of any
The whole
sort of
environment moves,
yeah, I
yeah.
didn't see any of that shit. But there are other games that have clearly not nailed that stuff.
but that, I mean, Until Dawn was another one where it was like it's basically like a fairground ride, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
You're
of course
sitting
it is,
there,
yeah.
And this is similar, but you have more control over being able to control your craft where you're going. But then the thing
That's
is,
the
like,
key, isn't it?
Drive Club though is a sit down one, and that, I mean, we'll come.
Oh,
to
that was
that
shit,
had-
yeah, that
we'll
was
definitely
shit.
come on to Drive
Serious
Club.
shit.
Yeah.
But I know it was really good. I mean, it was just such a shame it was so short. It's
Yeah.
like,
But what do you say? It's a demo, man. That's what
I
it's
know,
there
but you
for.
like fly off into space, start shooting down a couple of ships. It's like, okay, you're done.
Yeah, it's like at least give us one full
No,
mission.
not at
like,
least give us anything. All they need to do is go, this is the world. Fuck you, buy it.
But again, though, that's just showing you the spectacle of it. There's no way of
Don't matter.
it's same as with rigs. There's no way of discerning if it's actually a good flight sim
Yeah.
and if it's going to hold your attention.
Don't matter. It's done enough to make you go, I fucking want to play that.
Yeah, but if you're being discerning about it, like you can't tell if it's actually a good game or
Yeah,
not. And it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
how
yeah,
many of
definitely,
these early PSVR games are just leaning on the spectacle
See,
of it and not.
that's the thing. Like when I played this, because I looked at the controls because it gave you like a very brief, like sort of here are the controls. Now they've gone away, and like it had stuff like like targeting, like you press like triangle to target, and that was a bit iffy. Like it didn't really work that well, but. It's just the feeling of.
I do want to
a
try that
spaceship.
before I go.
Yeah,
actually.
no, same,
That does look pretty good. Right, okay, let's take
Should we
a
have
quick 2-minute break.
Yep.
I'll let it at this out when we do the podcast. But
Absolutely.
Okay.
I am
think we're gonna.
dying for a piss and I need another beer.
We all got.
I
I don't really need a piss, but I feel like I'm
We'll
not
be right
doing a
back.
one-man show. I'll
Sure,
fucking
talk-
embarrass
talk
myself.
to camera.
2 minutes.
Fucking hell! What have we
Sorry,
got
Sam.
in there? Hang on, how does this mouse work? It's got.
Don't touch it. What are you doing, a mouse? You can answer some
I was
questions.
going to answer the questions.
That's a good idea.
How do you do? Oh, here we go. Right. Okay. What have we got? Jay Seller says didn't like Res. Sorry, found it a bit one note. We'll deal with you in a minute. What else have we got? Someone applauding the mention of the Virtual Boy. That's why me and James are here.
It's true.
Oh, E-Banks Production says you can play non-VR games through the headset, right? Have you guys tried it? Yes. In fact, we'll come on to this when we do Thumper. I accidentally did this and thought I was playing VR mode. No,
See,
fucking
that's
wasn't.
something I want to try more of because it intrigues me. But
Yeah. Basically, yeah, it's sort of playing non-VR stuff with it. It's basically like as if you were sat in a cinema, sort of. Basically, the screen sort of floating in front of you. It's fine. It's all right. I don't know if it's going to be anyone's like preferred way to watch something, unless you like really hate your spouse or something.
It did highlight the sort of low resi kind
Yeah.
of thing, because it's so big. It's like
Yeah, basically your telly is probably better, unless your telly's really bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely low resolution, but
Yeah. What's Vic Parton says? Look at these massive slags in a room together. Cheers.
nailed that.
Oh, Farley's in the toilet. Sad that No Man's Sky VR hasn't been announced. That'd be all right, wouldn't it?
That'd be amazing.
That
but
would definitely
the,
give
like,
it some
frame
much
rate.
needed. Well, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
good
no,
point.
yeah. If they announced No Man's Sky, considering all the shit that's gone on recently, that would bring everyone back and probably more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Again,
that'll
like,
have to explode sales, but
make everyone regret demanding
we're
a
a
refund.
long way away from that.
What else have we got? Someone's drinking Scrumpy Jack. Communal pee break.
This is a good opportunity to ask us a question that won't get in the podcast. So
Yeah, basically.
anything you want.
I'm not dancing, but please explain what ASMR is. Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know what
go
it
on,
is.
yeah,
You
go
just
on
make-
then.
ASMR stands for Autonomic Sensory Meridian Response. Basically, it's a weird thing that a lot of people get that when in certain situations, typically if someone's whispering to you, you get like a weird tingly sensation in the back of your head. I can't wait for Dave to hear this when he's editing the show. He's going to fucking go mental. Yeah, and basically it's something that some people get, and there's like a massive YouTube community around it where there's just loads of videos of women pretending to give you eye exams. Sorry, I've been asked to explain ASMR, so here we go. Yeah, just basically have a look on YouTube, and if you get a weird feeling...
I've never tried it. I don't know if it's...
Oh, you're not?
No.
You would know if you had it, because like when someone told me the name of it, and I was like, what is that? I said, oh yeah, it's this thing. And I was like, oh fuck, I've always had that.
Oh.
So there you go. Someone's out asking us if we'd fuck each other.
No. Sorry.
Although before I went to sleep last night, Dave did ask if he could have a go on my dick.
Yeah.
Who's the most hated member of the group now? Dave's having a pee. Dave.
Yep.
And okay, Ben said he's actually not heard of ASMR before tonight. Okay, well now you have. I banged on about it enough on Twitter and stuff. What else have we got? Am I buying a PSVR? No, but purely because I can't afford it.
Did so.
I was sort of like playing on it last night. I was sort of on like enjoying it, but on the fence. But I've since played something that has pretty much converted me, which we'll get onto in a bit. Jay Seller says, "Love Midnight Resistance, by the way." Cheers. Tell us your best story that would be libelous if included in the podcast. No, because this is still going to go on YouTube. It's still a matter of public record. Just watching this with that phallic mic in the middle makes this feel like a slightly crap POV porno.
What's that one?
I'll just give that a little... Enjoy that, Luke. Who pees the loudest? I think probably Dave. He just goes straight for the middle. There's no polite aiming for the sides with him.
No, I don't do that.
Yeah, you
do. Aim for the sides?
Yeah.
Why?
It's just quieter. And no one has to listen to your piss.
You go wrong. The muscle is so strong that it just comes out like a fire hose.
Cracks the bowl if he hits the side. Do I think PSVR will be more successful than...
People do. Are you supposed to aim for the sides then?
It's considered polite,
It is quieter, yeah.
Is it polite?
Yeah. That's
It's
Joe,
like
she'll
in
tell you.
America, you can you're supposed to flush after the shit hits the water.
What do you mean?
We don't have that in England.
What do you mean?
In America,
Yeah.
when you have a shit,
Yeah.
you flush immediately.
Oh, every time one comes out?
Not every time one comes out, but
Okay.
when there's a break in it, you
Yeah.
flush.
Oh, right, fuck. Why?
To get rid of the smell, I guess.
It seems wasteful.
Well, that's they call it a courtesy flush.
Farley, your beer bottle's making
it's
everyone nervous.
really
It's making
loud.
Matt nervous as well because it's his fucking laptop.
Yeah.
Am I coming back to Gles Games at some point? At some point, yes.
Isn't that on now?
Yeah, it's actually on as we
Are
speak.
you going there tonight?
No. Actually, I suppose I'm halfway
Yeah,
there, aren't I?
Alright, we should probably crack on
Excuse
the
me, I'm talking to the fans here. I'm busy.
No, you're talking to my fans.
Let's get
That's
part
the reason
two.
why how are we doing for viewers?
70.
1,000.
70 viewers? Are you fucking kidding me?
That's all right.
That's really good. Thanks for
living
listening.
it.
Thanks for living it. What? I fucked that line up last week, didn't I?
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. Right, are we, so so welcome back to part 2.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Sponsored by Coors Light,
Yeah.
Fentimans and Amstel.
Oh shit, I'm still now. I meant to pick up a bug.
We've not actually explained for those watching the stream that we've got the chat up like below the camera.
Yes.
So if we're like
we're looking-
gazing at you and sort of grinning,
Yeah,
like,
but feel free to ask questions in chat. We'll keep looking at them and scroll back at the end to answer the ones we haven't already answered during the show.
Farley, please move your beer bottle. Have you seen
Yeah,
it?
sorry,
We've
we've
done that.
addressed that.
What was that?
It
What was
was
We've
it?
addressed that. We've moved on. It's because he had it right next to the
Oh,
laptop.
right, okay,
Everybody's
fine.
done.
And so let's just go on with the list of games.
So what was the next game on the list?
Okay, so next was the Resident Evil Kitchen demo, which
So-
I played.
Now, I'll be
Played.
honest with you, I am terrible at horror games. I'm a big scaredy cat, and I'm very happy to admit I hate jump scares and I hate that sort of shit. There is no way I'm playing that demo, and no, there is. I'm not interested in it. I don't like that sort of experience. But you stepped up to the
Yeah.
plate, and
Yeah,
it
fair
was as
dues.
if nothing happened.
Yeah, you're just
because-
totally unmoved.
We
by
should
it,
have done a
weren't you?
reaction video to it. There was a brilliant video on Video Gamer of Friday Night at Freddy's, is it called?
Oh yeah.
And
Nights
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Five Nights at Freddy's, and Simon Miller was playing it with Dave Scammell, and they were going mental, like properly freaking out. And then the two Ori brothers sat down, but the logic in their head was completely different, because they turned around and went, the jump scare happened, and he went, "Oh, I couldn't have done anything to avoid that. I don't understand why. Well, so this is rubbish." like, no jumps, nothing. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
So yeah, you were like that.
Yeah, because it felt like that. Because first of all, it didn't look that good. I mean, and I know it doesn't matter that much because it is all about the atmosphere and everything. But in this, it kind of felt like took me out of that, because when I looked at it, it really felt like I was looking at like GameCube Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Like that kind of quality.
It's linked to Resident Evil, this thing.
Yeah.
It's like, in what way?
Well, it was a tech demo for it, and at the end it says, continue your story in Resident Evil.
7,
right, okay, so tell us what happens in the kitchen.
So, in the kitchen, you're sitting down, and you see, you're taken out of it straight away because your hands are bound. So they're like, you've got like rope around them.
Yeah.
And there's another guy like laying on
Well,
the floor.
I mean, you say that, but that's the whole point, because they know you're holding the controller.
Yeah,
so that's
it's
the
clever. Yeah, but the trouble is if you move it, if you move the controller at all,
Yeah.
it all like distorts.
It goes
Like,
weird,
the graphics go all over the place. The
Yeah.
arms,
But
my arms were going like this.
I haven't played that, but it's a clever way. They know you're holding a pad, they know your arms are together, so for them to say, actually, your handcuffs are tied, that's a clever use
It
of
would work.
the fact that your arms
But
are in
it
a certain
kind of
position.
is, but you are holding two things.
Yeah, and also it technically didn't work either. Like it was kind of broken. So it's basically jump scares. Like there's like a girl comes out at you and like she stabs the guy who's trying to like cut your.
She puts a blade really close to your face.
Yeah, and it's like okay, but I mean the big problem with it is that because you don't have any power at all. Like you can't move. Like you can't do anything at all.
It's a cutscene, isn't it?
So you're basically just sitting there thinking, okay, there's nothing I can do in this situation. Part of the fear of like when you play horror games is the fact that there is maybe something you can do, like you can get away, like you can do something in your mind, you can do something to get away from it. In this, you can't, and so you just feel okay. Well, there's nothing I can do here. I've just got to sit here.
Yeah.
And
it's so weird because so many people rave about it. So many people, yeah. I mean,
also,
it got a huge reaction when it was first shown. What was it last year? Yeah, they're like, and everyone was like trying to keep it a secret and not spoil it, and they were saying it was terrifying.
Are you talking about the main
about the actual demo?
No.
The kitchen. I remember it being called the kitchen.
Because there's a bit right at the end where can I just say anything about this?
I think this is one that I don't care about.
Obviously, like she disappears and you don't know where she's gone, so you think, okay, she's obviously behind me, and so you're like looking around, okay, I can't see her, and then she comes from above. And like comes right down, right in your face. It was all
Spider-Man, the movie.
Yeah, but she's like looking at you and all just like, and you're like, yeah, it's all right.
What's she like?
No, she's all going,
and he was like, yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, it's all right. Again, I can't do anything. So you're just like, okay, I know she's not going to kill me, and or maybe she will, and it's over. But it's just the fact that you don't feel like you've got any agency at all.
There's no investment in it. You're just like, well, I might get stabbed or I might not. It does not matter. Yeah. And this will be over in 30 seconds.
A theme that's going to come up tonight, I think, definitely, is that some of the stuff that's a little bit more notorious and stuff that you think is going to be what VR is all about. From my experience this weekend, the one thing that I can certainly take away from it is that it's not been the case. The stuff that I would have thought would have been a bit shit and gimmicky isn't. It's genuinely good. Yeah. And the stuff that, like, the kitchen and Batman, that I thought was going to be what VR's all about, you soon realise that, it's not. This is, like, I'm already over the whole VR experience shit. You know what I mean? The whole, you can chuck this and throw this and stuff. And when I got down to the actual games that were designed as games, that was when I was like, nah, I'm into this. Like, I am into this now. But yeah,
and it's also like, it's the games that try to be realistic. The suffer right now because there's not enough power to do that, and maybe
you're
probably
right.
different on the shore. But Batman's much more realistic in graphics, and graphically, I think that's one of the stronger titles. Definitely, Kitchen isn't it. It's more abstract ones like Thumper and Super Hypercube that we'll get onto shortly that have the bigger impact on me. Certainly.
So what was the next game on the list?
Okay, so the next game is the Playroom VR Robot Rescue.
Oh,
which we played this afternoon.
Now, fucking hell, this was a shock.
So Playroom VR is totally free. I mean, obviously, people might have paid the Playroom when the PS4 first came out. It came, you could download that for free in it.
You get the robots in your pad and flick them out and then swipe.
And they've released another version, a VR version for free for PSVR. So,
and basically, so this is one of the games within that And I mean, we checked it out because was it you, Matt? You'd read that there was sort of Nintendo
loads of people were
vibes.
raving about this. There's a certain platform. What's it called again? Sorry,
Robot Rescue. Rescue.
Yeah, Robot Rescue.
Yeah. And basically, the hook is. I mean, the hook is that there's 2 players. Actually, that was kind of shit, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. The second player is controlling this like flying aircraft, and the ways in which that interacted with the first player was kind of boring.
It was boring. It was boring for the second player, but when Matt played it, I don't think Matt had as good a time as we did.
No, on my own,
because it unlocks by having that second player there, it unlocks more shit for the guy who was doing it.
Yeah,
might be right. Yeah,
what it can do.
But yeah, basically, it's just one level. It's like for player 1, it's a 3D platformer, and it's really smart. So the view you're looking at is you're this.
If you've got the headset on.
Yeah, if you've got the headset on, you're this like floating robot with a controller in front of you, which is in the world. It's it's a physical thing, and with that you're controlling this little guy who's running around, and he's cute as fuck, and he every time he comes near you, he just gives you a little look, and basically it's just sort of running around. He's got little melee attacks and stuff, and there's basic enemies that are little purple blocks with teeth, and you put.
Carry on.
All right. Yeah, and basically when it gets smart is that this is good for people listening to the recording. You do realise?
No, I mean I haven't.
This is a little treat for the YouTube.
God, so Cam.
The trick is basically the controller. You actually you collect other little robots that you rescue, hence the title, and they sort of get chucked into the controller, like where the touchpad is on the controller. Sort of like a little hatch opens up, and the little guy is going.
There's a little 3D representation of the controller in the game. Yeah.
And and basically the controller's got this grapple hook on it, so there'll be points where you'll see a hook point in the distance, and you have to point the controller out. You flick up on the touchpad, and it fires this hook out, and that's then a little tightrope that your little robot can get on and walk all the way over. And it's fucking. The
game is full of neat little touches.
I'd never considered a sort of a 3D platformer in VR.
No, nor had I.
Like a VR game where the controller looks like the controller, but is a tool in the world that does.
But that's the genius. The genius about that game was that when you think about a 3D platformer in VR, you think about. Well, you're just the camera behind the thing. Yeah. If you make the camera a character, it changes. It totally changes. Yeah. Like him just looking up at you as he's walking past was enough to make me go, this fucking.
It definitely has a Nintendo vibe.
And now
musically,
what 3D platformer can you think of where the camera is a character?
Yes, Lakitu. Mario 64.
Fucking yes! Oh my god, Nintendo, sort your shit out.
Yeah.
I mean, you're doing stuff for Apple now. You might as well do it for fucking Microsoft and
PlayStation.
And PlayStation.
This is what I said when I was playing. It was imagine what Nintendo could do with this.
Yeah.
It could be really amazing.
Because this is, it's got great Nintendo style music. It's
it's pure
Mario.
Galaxy.
It feels like a solid world.
That's the killer, though, isn't it?
It feels Nintendo.
It's not like
in touches. Definitely.
You bought a £350 headset.
All right,
ain't gonna work on the fucking Nintendo console. That's the thing that's gonna be a
don't need one. I've got to play with VR, Dave.
That was just a really pleasant surprise.
It was a pleasant surprise, and it had.
We've only played one of the. I think there's 4 or 5 mini games in that. There's others which are also great. So
we have definitely got to try that stuff out. I mean, did you mention the ramp?
No, I didn't mention the ramp.
Yeah.
Basically, at the end, there's this huge slide, and that's it, isn't it? There's a big slide that you go down, but just because of the headset, it is.
Well, it's a perfect example of something that now. One of the big subjects when people talk about PSVR is motion sickness, and some people have reported they've got very sick from it. Some people have reported that they haven't even felt anything, and we've had it's been sort of a mixed bag between us as well. And that's slide, I think, put everything in my head. I kind of understand why some people would feel sick playing PSVR, and the only way to describe it, right, is if you're in a shopping centre and one of the escalators is broken and it's not moving, when you still got to walk up this escalator, right? When you first put your foot on the escalator and your body weirds out because you're so used to your body shifting balance, stepping onto an escalator. It's just a muscle memory thing. Your whole body just changes. But when that doesn't happen, it feels weird, right?
Yeah.
That's exactly what hitting the bottom of that slide in that game felt like. You were bracing yourself with something, you didn't feel anything, and then that's when you went, oh, that's weird. That is weird.
That was exactly what it was with Drive Club as well, though, that we'll get to. It's that same feeling of like, you're expecting to have this sort of physical feeling that's going to happen, but it doesn't come, and then you just feel really strange.
Yeah, and that's
where
the
going down slides. Like I've been on huge water slides and haven't had that feeling, but that felt more like if you go over a hill, like quickly, if you're driving in the country, the same sort of like, whoop, that was.
See, I didn't get that.
Felt like that definitely.
See, I didn't get that.
It was like your body. If it seems to shift or something in your stomach seems to shift, I didn't feel sick. It was just like, whoop. It was really fantastic. It's just a simple slide at the end of the
kind of feeling like your body isn't where you're expecting it's going to be. It's very strange.
It's really interesting that your expectation of a thing happening causes the physical sensation of it to an extent, and despite it not actually happening.
And that weirds me out totally, because that means that these fucking headsets are literally tricking your brain into thinking that you're actually doing something.
And this is day one. Like, what are you doing? Years time, like, oh my god, they're tricking me.
Calm down. Let's calm down.
Imagine what that'd be like for somebody who's like never driven a car or whatever. Like, what would they feel playing Drive Club?
Good question. They haven't been in a go-kart or driven a car. Well,
no, they'll still probably have been in moving vehicles, and I think you can still relate to stuff.
What if they'd never been? What if they never left the house?
What if it was the room?
Yeah, what if it's the room? After 20 years, like, here's the VR headset. Okay, it's the first thing I do. Been trapped in my uncle's basement, but okay, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to Res.
Should
we save Res?
It's Res time.
Can you copy that to the bottom of the list?
Yeah, do you want to leave that?
Jesus Christ.
I think that's an indication of of the.
There's going to be a lot of Res chat on the stream.
Tune in later for the good stuff.
While you're doing that, Dave is very eloquent while drinking. I don't know what that means. 4K or VR? 4K or VR, Matt?
I haven't experienced enough 4K, so it's VR all the way.
VR feels like a potentially genuinely interesting new way of doing things, whereas 4K is just an improvement on what we have.
You're probably right, but then 4K is...
4K is nice.
4K is just more detailed. This is like a genuine different way.
You can use 4K with so much... Like with other things, you can't use VR.
Yeah, but it's still just a visual
experience
change.
That I can't imagine.
No, you'd use 4K a hell of a lot more in your life than you will VR.
But it's not like if you had to choose one other. One's like a huge change in how.
Matt. No, that is.
I would rather buy one of these than a 4K TV.
All right, give an example of a gameplay thing you can do with 4K that you can't in HD.
How many slides do you mean down to 4K, Dave?
Give a thing of a non-gameplay thing you do with VR. No, all right.
I don't know what our question is, James. Give a thing of a thing, Sean. Jesus, in 4K, James.
Okay,
live TV.
Thumper. We got next.
Okay.
Thumpers.
Now, who'd play Thumper before today? Before VR?
Me. I just wasn't raising my hand.
So do you want to
me? I have.
And me.
Podcast listeners.
Sean and James.
So talk about Thumper first as a game rather than the VR stuff. So before you got here, what were your opinions on Thumper?
So I already loved Thumper, but it is already like an incredibly intense game, and I was frankly a little bit worried.
What is Thumper?
For those
Thumper is Thumper, as Matt was saying, it's referred to as a rhythm violence game, which sort of...
It's accurate once you played it.
Yeah, like if you haven't played it, then that conjures up images that are perhaps unfair. It's not like there's blood in it or anything.
There's no stabbing.
Like obviously, if you've played like any harmonics game, you're familiar with their sort of form of you're a thing in the middle of the screen and notes are drifting towards you, and then you have to hit them in order to play a song. This is like usually that's just an abstract sort of like that's a score. That's like a simplified musical score that you're just following. This is literally you are like an insect on a roller coaster through fuck knows where. Like it's just all these like horrific abstract environments.
That's brilliant.
And you're a little beetle and you're just like hitting, like smashing through obstacles and hitting things and turning corners and trying not to die.
But it is a score though, still, isn't it? Like
it is. Yeah.
It's just that it's less obvious that it is.
It's sort of made physical in a way that it wasn't in like Guitar Hero or whatever. And basically, without getting into too much detail, it just does loads of really smart musical things, and there's a like this incredible sort of intensity to it that like you can only do a couple of levels and then it's like, right, I need to fucking
chill out a bit.
Yeah,
like I was a little bit disappointed with my first play of it. Nothing to do with the game.
Right,
it was me trying to work it out. There's a lot of things that, like, when you play Guitar Hero for the first time, you're playing it like strum,
Yeah.
like you're
Yeah.
you're pressing the strummer and the button, pressing the strummer and the button, pressing the strum. And it's not until you realise that actually I don't need to keep pressing the button when I'm pressing the strummer. I
you
can
can
hold
the
things
button.
down.
Yeah.
And like my first playthrough, I didn't work out what was working against me and what I can and cannot do.
Yeah.
Can I hold down the X while I'm
Yeah.
doing this stuff? Can I let go of it and re-tap it? What are the rules here? And by the end of that first level, I was like, I know the rules now. I want to play a lot more. So as a game, I'm interested. I'm not sold on it yet because I've only played one level. It means nothing really. As a VR experience, how would you compare that to playing it?
It's mental, the difference.
Are you going to be able to go back?
Yeah.
Can you go back?
I'm pretty sure I can go back. It is a little bit easier in VR, isn't it? As well as being more intense and horrifying.
Well,
it's because you've got
stuff.
you've got the depth perception, so you can
see a lot more.
you can see obviously when the notes are coming at you from the distance and then hitting your little beetle guy, whatever he is. You have a better sense of how they're coming at you rather than it just being a 2D image when it's the thing is increasing in size as it gets towards you. Like obviously human brain's pretty good at understanding that, but having it actually in 3D makes a hell of a difference.
See, I played it mostly on Vita Remote Play before I played it in VR.
A little bit different.
Well, there's reasons for this because I played it on my PS4 and then my daughter really didn't like it, like being on, because she's like she said it's scary and like too much, like she really hated the music. So I was playing it on that, and it works quite well actually. Like the latency doesn't seem to be like a massive problem with it. But then playing it on VR is something else. It's it's
really nice.
Yeah, the VR was the first time I played it, and first couple of times I was trying to work out what was what. But I played the first level in its entirety today in VR, and it's just. I think it's one of my favourite experiences in VR.
Really?
It feels nasty,
adjust your weight.
I think.
Tomorrow you won't even think about
it.
it. Honestly.
Even though it's so abstract and there's not a single recognisable thing in it, but it's aggressive.
Yeah,
like
it feels nasty.
Do you know what's funny is that like I was the last one of all of us to play it, and you don't realise how simple it is when you're not playing it.
Yeah.
And when you're seeing someone play it, you're like,
looks really
what
complex.
the fuck? How are you doing that? Like, so there's some gates, and there's like 5 or 6 different gates that you have to burst through. And watching it, just knowing the games that we play, like we played rhythm action games before, I felt as if you had to tap them each gate in the rhythm at the time they're coming through. It's really impressive to watch someone play it because of the speed of it. Like it's insane. Playing it in VR, I was I'm really excited to sort of put more time into that game. I don't know if I could go back. I think
we gotta go back.
I think playing it in VR was really you had that rushing feeling of things heading towards.
It's the colours, it's the speed, it's the sense of scale.
And then when you got to the boss,
the journey bombing down that pipe thing. It's just.
And I can imagine that.
So, it's really immersive.
You know the boss at the end of the first level is like a big face.
Yeah.
I imagine seeing that on a screen and just thinking, this is something I've seen a million times in games before. A massive face. But in VR, it was kind of when you reached it, you were like looking up at it, and then that's
definitely I never playing the game on the TV. The boss is like, oh, it's a face, I guess. And then you do the boss and it's fine, but it's that scale thing.
The sense of scale is still one of my favourite things.
Like looming over. The only way I can see myself playing this and trying to recreate this is by it's got to be dark in the house.
Sitting right up against the TV.
With big headphones on.
Yeah.
It's the only way that's going to work.
Your nose just grazing the front of your
just have your TV really high and you're on the floor like doing it. Your sense of scale is still one of my favourite things about VR, but in terms of non-VR gaming, what's been the biggest sense of scale? Was it like Shadow of the Colossus? I mean, what? Because I feel like scale is so important.
I just thought
in
about
VR.
Shadow of the Colossus in VR.
Oh, for me,
but if you could, if you did that, you absolutely crane your neck. It'd be so massive you couldn't see.
For me,
the VR scale is huge. In regular gaming, you've had it's like Shadows, Colossus, like the Oculus or the Oculi are really huge, but this it will mean so much more.
Well, there's an obvious game that sticks out that would be perfect for VR and has that insane sense of scale is Portal 2, right? They had that. They had those bits where you were. Do you remember that massive door?
Yeah.
Like that massive metal mechanical door thing. That was stunning the first time I tried that, because the sense of scale for that. The other game that really sticks out in terms of scale for non-VR stuff, and I've spoken about it before, was Forza Horizon 2. Yeah. And when you were racing against that huge aeroplane, did you get to that bit?
I raced against a jet.
It was like a carrier thing, and it made me feel.
Yeah, it'll be scary.
I remember wanting to barf.
Barf?
Yeah.
Okay.
God, I'm
gonna barf.
I'm barfing the faucet. Oh god! Get the trash receptacle, you jerk off. Okay, mate.
Alright, you've had your moment.
Okay.
It made me want to throw up. It just makes me feel ill. That sort of stuff. That sense of scale.
And that in VR would be genuinely scary.
Yeah, with that huge, because the shadow comes over you, and then you look up and you see that massive plane, and that made me feel ill. Yeah. So those were the two non-VR moments where scale actually had an effect on me.
But yeah, seeing a boss at the end is like wow, and it's a fantastic game. So it's like 16 quid. That's one of the games I have this week, and I really want to. There's a few. In fact, there's loads of games I want to get, but it made a real impression on me.
It's worth it, not in VR, but in VR.
How hard does it get? Does it get like super ridiculous?
It's really hard. Yeah.
I'm not too.
Yeah, but that's only every game. Like the game I likened it to was Guitar Hero, not Guitar Man. At the drum and bass level. Because you try the drum and bass level the first time, you're like, there is no way I'm ever going to be able to do this, and I can still do the drum and bass level easy now because it's like imprinted into my brain, and that's what it felt like. Okay, cool. Next game.
Okay, shall we just look at a few questions?
Yeah, there's been a few things. Some people have been. I noticed someone's
accused you of being a thief.
Saying, where have you heard of the escalator thing? I mean, you all hear when I come out with it. It was just a feeling that I felt that reminded me of a feeling that I've got a feeling that I'm not the only one that's put that together.
It's public domain, I think. Is what
well, what else have we had?
Okay, then also we've got are you worried about the antisocial nature of this? And to be honest, after the things we've done, it's kind of yes or no.
Yeah, it's definitely yes for me.
Mm-hmm. But then also that playroom was like, it was also fantastic, and it's like five of us played that. I think it'd be an awesome social party.
No, there's not been a
situation.
But
that's like an actual party situation. But what if it's just you and the wife and the kid, and you just
but I don't think I'll play it that way. I mean, I wouldn't just put the headsets.
No, that's what I'm saying. So the social element of it is non-existent at the moment, and I can't see it being.
Until you all have headsets on.
I mean,
of course it is.
Well, okay. Apart from, we got the game we got coming out, which is the one with the bomb.
Keep
talking.
We'll talk about it.
That was good, right? Okay, you got me there. That was good.
But I mean, you're right. In general, it is a kind of like an isolating experience. Every single time we've looked at someone who's sitting there in the chair playing it. It looks weird.
Yeah, it looks like the future. I mean, my future, but it's like someone's like
my future.
And it looks like visions of like the future, just like people wearing headsets, like not communicating. It's weird, but I think it's also amazing.
What's really strange about it is it looks weird because there's a person sitting there, but they look like they're not in the room either. Yeah. Because they've got this weird headset on with all the flashing lights and everything.
Yeah.
And they don't look like they're part of it at all. Yeah. I mean, you took a great picture, Dave, of Matt sitting there playing it.
Yeah, well, you two
we're having a chat, and it just looks really weird.
Yeah. I tell you so though. I think that's absolutely right. The right way of that, if you want to make it a social experience, the irony is. You would instantly think the way to make this a social experience is to have whoever is whatever the person with the headset is seeing projects it on the telly. Yeah. It's the opposite of that. Mm-hmm. So the social experience we had with VR was when Matt was it was me, wasn't it? And you, when Sean, when the person with the VR headset was seeing something. Yeah. That the others weren't, and it forced you to ask what that person was seeing. Yeah. That's been the social element, and I think when it comes to multiplayer games on PSVR with people using the TV at the same time, they need to separate that. They need to make sitting watching what you're seeing is not interesting, and 9 times out of 10, what we found is that people have used the PSVR. And everyone else has just started chatting amongst themselves. When it's been separated and we don't know what each other are looking at, like the person with the headset's looking at, that's when it becomes a little bit more social because you're kind of what the fuck is going on in that headset, and that's been the interesting.
And that really is only one game so far, and that is keep talking and nobody explodes which
I mean the Playroom stuff where you were controlling it from two different perspectives.
And you can have up to 4 or 5 players in that. So that's
the problem is that the second player was shit. Like,
and there's also when like one of you are in a headset, and I was asking questions like Sean, like when you're in a headset and you're controlling a character in that what's it called again? Something Rescue.
Robot Rescue.
I was trying to work out. Now, are you supposed to be putting that thing? Are you pressing that button? But it's actually impossible to understand how that game works unless you're actually in the headset. And when I played, I was like, oh, that's how it works.
Yeah. That's
there's a lot of questions.
But again,
seeing on screen.
Would you want to like use this on your own in your house with nobody else in the house? I'm not sure I would, because I'd feel.
Well, that's when I would.
That's the perfect.
Okay, this is my paranoia, right? But you're sitting there, you're completely like out of the real world at that point. And it just feels. No,
you just got a little hat on. You got a little helmet on.
Yeah, I know, but you don't have any. Like,
I know what you mean. For the same reason, like
if there's a fire or something like that, you'd have no idea.
Like because I can't wear headphones.
I feel the heat, and I'm like, I'll leave it. I'll give it 5 minutes.
Because I can't wear headphones when I'm out and about because I need to be able to hear what's going on around me.
Yeah, you can listen to music walking down the road or podcasts.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I can in the car or sat at my desk, but I can't when I'm just walking around.
But like this idea of like, because it
trying
deprives
to
so
knife
many of
me,
your
Dave.
senses. The only senses you've got left is like.
That's say for the YouTube.
That'll be good on the podcast.
Don't worry about that.
Okay, anyway, let's move on.
Don't worry about that, man. Right, James.
Okay, Super Hypercube was next.
Yeah, so I was going to really play this, but this is. I really desperately wanted you guys to play this. This is one of my favourite games I've played so far, and hopefully we will get a chance to play it before the weekend.
You would only want to play this?
Yeah. Mark also played it. Mark's and Spong, everyone. Yes, so Super Hypercube is basically a VR version of Dale Winton's Hole in the Wall. It's not an official licensed title, sadly, but basically the idea is that it's also sort of 3D Tetris. You have a 3D object in front of you, very much like one of the Tetris shapes. You can look around that shape in VR, and you see a hole in the wall in the distance, and basically you can flip the shape that's in front of you to make sure it goes through the hole. Now the first one's like a square, so you just like watching, a square, you like zoom through, but then another block's added to that square, and then you go like rotate, flip it, and you can look around it. It's a game you can only really be done in VR because you have to be able to look around the shape. Yeah. And you can see, there's like a T-shaped shape, and you like flip around, you like zoom forward, and it goes through. And it's a game that can only be done in VR, and it's got a really fantastic graphical style. It's lots of like neon lights, and
I was
really impressed.
I was hoping what would have been better is if using the move controller you had to make the shape yourself.
That would be
the thing I got from watching it, I mean, you said it felt really good to play, but
muscle march on the way. I just think I know there's a game that's done that.
Was manipulating the block quite hard to do because it looked like you were struggling to.
Well, it was tough for me, and actually, when I watched videos of this before, and Giant Bomb did a video like weeks ago, and when I was watching this, I think they did a 20-minute video. I couldn't actually work out how they were even like doing it because it looks impossible. But you can't unless you're in the headset. It looks like an impossible thing. I just couldn't work out when I was watching the the Giant Bomb YouTube video. How are they flipping it? How can they look around? How do they know it's the right shape? And they're like pressing X to bomb towards a hole.
But once you're in there,
it makes sense. It is tricky, but it's not impossible. And you can look around, you can see the shape in the distance. And I think it's definitely one of my favourite. For those of you watching the YouTube version, Colin from Works just messaged me. Colin, PSVR is great. We're not messaging now. Okay, but Super Hypercube, I think it's fantastic. A lot of people maybe complain about the price. I think it's like 16 quid. I think it could be more, but I thought it's fantastic. So hopefully you guys hear podcast with me. We're gonna play it for the weekends, but I think Super Hypercube is definitely one of my favourite games. And again, it's like an abstract graphically, and so I think it looks great and it's fun to play.
Okay. Can I have a beer but also go to the bathroom?
Oh, for fuck's sake! The bathroom break! We've already had a bathroom break.
I could actually do with a wee.
Oh,
yeah, go on.
Okay, right.
You guys have a piss and then we'll...
That's right, you can answer the question. It's good fun.
You do the
okay, right. Ask me a question. I'm the main one.
Well, I'm also here, but...
No, you are. I would say you're probably second now.
Well, high five.
I think you're second now.
After washing your hands, obviously.
It's a nightmare for editing.
Is it? No, I can. Well, I'll edit the audio, I guess.
I'm actually not going to edit the video at all. I was going to Bang it up.
No, the video goes straight up.
Yeah.
So
if you've got any questions,
if you've got
basically
any
this
questions-
section will not be on the podcast. So any questions that too risky for late night, we'll ask them, please. I just like, where's my ear gone? Bollocks.
you got. What's this? Is it this?
Oh yes, that is that mother. Yeah.
I'm getting quite drunk. Hi Dave. Can I do a? Yeah, man. Cena, do a piano composition for the podcast. Email it in thecomputergameshow@gmail.com.
Nailed it. Have you got the bottle opener?
Dave, are you buying one? There is no way I can afford a PSVR. I would absolutely love a PSVR at this point. We'll get to this. I'm kind of spoiling the end of the podcast.
Yeah,
but
let's say that about it.
I would absolutely love one. I can't justify the cost. That's the truth. So, club together amongst yourselves.
Yeah, patreon.com.
Does Dave West Ham? Yes, I do. I hate West Ham. We are the West Ham Haters. 30 minutes to Watershed. Oh, is it nearly 9 o'clock? 9 o'clock.
Near 9 o'clock.
I'm feeling really dry. It's
It's half eight. It's half eight. We've got to pick up. I mean, this could be a 4-hour show, but
No, it's not.
okay. no, it's not.
Dave, go cold turkey. No, it's too late for that, mate. Do a big vape. I'm not a big vapor. I've not had a cigarette now for
6 minutes?
3.5 years.
It's pretty late.
Yeah, so that's been my saving grace with it. How clean is Matt? Matt's very clean. He's a
I'm the
clean
cleanest man in
chap.
showbiz.
Although, see this shirt? I ironed that this morning for him.
I could have myself. I chose not to. Generic name 234. I didn't run a marathon. I ran a half marathon, but I did a Great North Run, and it was
Are
amazing.
you going to do a marathon?
Yeah, well, yeah. So that's next
you
year.
totally
That's
should.
next year's plan. Yeah.
They know I'll sponsor you.
Okay.
Actually, we were supposed to and we forgot. We'll sort
You
that
can
out.
still find them.
You still fight? I had no idea David vaped. Yeah, sorry, it's a dirty secret, sorry.
It's not that dirty.
Chunk956. Is there scope for VR streaming? i.e. viewers can look around your VR world? I mean, there's absolutely scope for it. Technology is off a bit. We can't do it. I mean, even right now, actually, you can stream PSVR, but you can't obviously use the camera. You can't currently stream and have the camera feed of what's happening in the room and the game. You can only stream the game, which is a bit of a shame.
Matt's my hero as well. Ooh, Stevie. Ooh.
SMW
Dave,
up
which
and that.
video game show theme music would you want me to compose for the show? I would suggest the computer game show theme music, and we will open it with the episode after you send it in.
Yeah. But basically, a slightly different version of the same tune would be, or
That
different,
would be pretty.
yeah, or
Like,
a different
evolve it.
sound. Yeah.
Do what you want, mate, and we'll be very interested to hear what you come up with. I mean, I
I'm
love
also
piano
good.
stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna go for a piss off.
He loves that piano stuff.
You are nice
men,
boys.
the lot of us.
Yeah, we are. My kidneys
Where's the bottle opener?
going. You're nice boys. Thanks. I've already said that.
Where's the bottle opener?
Look, smashing Matt. Look, he spelt Matt wrong. That's gonna wind him up. Which one of you is wearing?
What's an Omi bod?
Well, I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna Google it.
Where's the bottle opener?
We are streaming. Our stream setup is insane. Matt has done an insane job. Although, I'll let you into a bit of background chat. We thought it was going to take half an hour to set up. It took an hour and a half. And that's because 40 minutes of that was Matt and Sean were doing it. And they realised that the audio had cut out. And they spent ages resetting the computer, trying to get the audio to work, until they realised that the mic wasn't plugged in. And
Whoa, right. That sounds like it was never plugged in.
it was plugged
It
in.
was plugged in, the wire had come a little bit loose and was no longer
then they
technically
realised-
connected.
And then just after that, literally minutes after that, the video feed cut out, and they couldn't work out how to get visuals on until they realised that had unplugged. So that took 20
Also-
minutes.
No, it hadn't
You also
unplugged.
missed a
We just
bit.
had to unplug it and plug it back in.
Bollocks.
It fucking I've checked it.
No, you didn't have to unplug it again. You just had to plug it back
No, I
in.
had to unplug it.
That-
So you also missed the bit where the router switched off.
Yeah, that was
yeah, I
There
good.
was
missed
no
that.
internet for
Yeah,
a bit, which
yeah.
was...
So an Omi bod, which I presume is Oh My bod, is a sex toy that you just leave in you and it's a vibrator.
I'm going to get one of them.
Yeah.
Hello, Uxorius. I still remember your point-and-click adventure you made about your flat or house. He genuinely did. The guy made a point-and-click adventure taking photos of his house,
Right.
and you could turn like the light switch on and off and shit like that. It was fucking insane.
Nice.
The guy was committed. I should have been committed.
Whoa!
Whoa!
Matt, where is the bottle opener?
I was here.
Oh, thank you.
Steve says, thought you were actually going to play the games on this feed. No, we did say that
boring.
many times. Basically, the way it presents a lot of the games on the TV is not always brilliant. So there's not really a good way of
We
doing
tried to
that.
periscope it earlier in the day, but it was really boring.
Unless you've got a pretty advanced setup.
Yeah.
Send us some money and then we can do that. Is there anything else we've missed? I think Capone is lurking in the chat. He probably definitely is. What snacks have you got lined up? Matt kindly bought absolutely loads of stuff in. There's a load of crisps and M&Ms and that. Biscuit M&Ms, which is the right
The greatest
fucking
M&Ms
choice.
of all, yeah.
The right choice.
You're not a
we've
fan of the peanut?
Oh, they're all right, but the biscuits are clearly the best. Also, Matt's made us a spag bol, and I'm going to do a sticky toffee pudding for afters.
We are so 30s.
We are.
We are so middle-aged. Got a cracking spag bowl lined up.
So yeah, Matt, what are you drinking?
What am I drinking? I've got basically basically Northern Monk, a local brewery. They came into our agency where I work, and we had a Northern Monk versus Brewdog night where basically tasted all the beers and it's really class. And they gave us some, and so I've got Midsummer Peach and Apricot IPA. It's absolutely gorgeous. 6% volume, so might do a sip during the stream, but.
Matt's not got the best tolerance for alcohol.
I'm fine.
You're better than James, I mean... Yeah,
Right,
James,
shall
you used
we-
to get
Andrew Palmer says, Sean, how were the eggs? Didn't have eggs. I had sausage bap. It was very nice. Cheers,
Can you
Matt.
get me an Amstel out of the fridge?
Cena says, any of you fans of Rab Florence would be an excellent guy to have on the show.
Yes, I would love to have Rab on, but...
Would you?
Yeah, I think...
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
I wasn't
Okay.
sure where you
we've,
stood on.
absolute
no, we've
brief.
always had a real... I don't know. I mean, from my perspective, I think we've always had a really strange relationship with Rab, but
Yeah.
I've never had a problem with the man. He wrote a thing about Gamergate really early on that was fantastic, like one of the best pieces that I'd read about it. And I mean, of course, I would have him on.
But yeah, I'm a massive fan. Consulvania was a hugely
Yeah.
Yeah, you've done some stuff
formative
for him, right? You
thing.
did that Dark Souls stuff.
Yeah, we did Dark Souls video for him. He's been on Midnight Resistance as well. Maybe go and listen to that.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Disappointing.
What
Couple
else
more
have we got?
questions for part 3.
Jaffa cake or a biscuit. We know full well it's a cake because it's a matter of public record. It was decided in court that it's a cake because it goes solid when it goes stale, not soft.
That's done.
Did Matt get you the right pillow?
Pillow's not great.
James,
No, it's fine. I brought my own because I like a very thin pillow.
speaking of sleeping, James made a point on the last podcast to say, I don't want to sleep in the same room as David because he snores. Well, he didn't. I don't think you described what you did this morning as snoring.
I heard it from upstairs. I mean,
Did you hear it from
yeah,
upstairs?
hell yeah.
Oh yeah,
I saw it was
I
an
could hear it.
earthquake.
I messaged Sean in the morning and said, I'm worried about the foundations of this
Yeah.
house because
Yeah.
I think they are breaking.
I've got a cold. It's
Okay, couple more questions. Yeah, so Ebanks Productions, glasses. These are Dolce & Gabbana Ebanks. I'm not messing about. I'm not playing games. And Force and John Denton's new YouTube videos. I love John Denton. He's an absolute hero of mine.
Yeah,
and
he
I'm
is.
glad he's doing something, and YouTube seems like the right channel for him. So, yeah, everyone subscribe
This
to
is
John
the right
Denton's.
channel,
Yeah,
apart
yeah.
from QVC.
I mean, he's shit on Twitter, but YouTube
I
owning
love
that.
John.
Yeah, so everyone find YouTube, John Denton's YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Subscribe down.
Go
He did, although he did
Like,
comment on this
subscribe, and
video
mind.
when we first started, and he's been silent since. So I think he's probably got
Probably
bored and
tuned
fucked
off.
off.
Like,
Yeah.
subscribe, and remind me.
So
I think
fuck
is a term.
Okay, let's go. Right.
Yeah. So part 3. Welcome to part 3. Go.
okay. Tumble.
Tumble,
Do
yeah.
that again because let's make it an easier edit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you're all talking over each other. Just
Okay. So tumble.
right. So who played Tumble amongst us?
I played
Was it just
Tumble.
me and you? So
okay.
yeah, so Tumble was one of the first VR games that I played, like games that I played. I did a couple of experiences, and it was all fine and stuff. And I was kind of thinking, yeah, VR is not for me. I'm not going to buy one of these. And I sat down and played Tumble, and instantly changed my opinion on things. It was so Tumble is not a VR experience. It's not something that you put on your head and you feel like you're in a different world. It's not something that is trying to simulate feelings of movement or scale or anything like that. You essentially sit down and there's a table in front of you with some blocks and you've got to build towers. There's different sort of objectives, but it's kind of a puzzle game where there's a table in front of you with blocks on it. Use the Move VR, and it's easily the best move controller thing that I've tried. You just build the blocks, but
you build the blocks.
Yeah, you just build
the blocks.
You sit in front of this table, and you totally feel like there's a table in front of you, and you totally understand what you need to do, and it feels utterly incredible to play. Yeah. And I could have played level after level after level. That is the first thing that I played. That's another
game I want to buy, and that's only like £7 or £8. So that's
it was the first thing that I played where I thought I went from thinking this will be fun to try for 15 minutes to going I could genuinely sit and play this for an hour or two.
Yeah. It feels so good.
Watching it on the screen, it looked.
No, but that is about response. So you use the move control to hold, squeeze on the trigger, and you basically pick up a block. But I love picking up a block, and it's maybe not the right angle for you to stack it. You can like flip your wrist, and it sort of flicks around, and you can feel some. You feels like you feel the weight in like the wooden blocks or whatever you're stacking. It's so simple. You're stacking wooden blocks. This is it's things that toddlers do and they love doing. But
and what was really weird, it felt like Crystal Maze because everyone could see what I was doing.
We're all shouting at you.
And
no, put that one on there. Turn that.
And it was so simple. It was so not what I expected to enjoy about VR, but it was the most effective way of saying actually VR can be a game. That was it. That was it.
Game rather than experience.
Game rather than a fucking ride.
I mean, how would that game work in non-VR, and would that even be fun?
It would, yeah, it would. But it's a simple puzzle game.
But you wouldn't feel you wouldn't. Not that you feel weight, but you wouldn't have the sense of weight of the.
No, but I could imagine the puzzles.
I'm moving it.
I can imagine the puzzles being entertaining enough to work on, say, an iPhone. So you click the blocks, you twist it around, and put it together.
Especially with the physics.
The Wii tried a lot of sort of stuff like that.
Yeah,
it was never that great.
Yeah, like for example, like Boom Blocks, right? Boom Blocks was a game that people rated. I didn't rate it that highly. I didn't really like it that much.
Steven Spielberg's
Boom
Blocks.
Get the full title right.
Come on.
And I think that game in VR would be another game like Tumble, where it would feel right. You know, like everything would feel
Interestingly enough, there was a way to, apparently, I don't know how you even went about activating it, but you could use head tracking on that. If you could be arsed having like a fucking... I forget how you did it. You needed like a hat with two lights on it.
Two lights on.
Yeah.
That was that dude that...
Yeah.
On YouTube.
Apparently, Boom Blocks had that. You had to like do something secret to activate it. But yeah, apparently it was in the game.
Oh shit. Well, it felt like a game like Boom Blocks, and the benefit was that you felt like you were sitting in front of a puzzle and manipulating this puzzle, and it allowed you, like, it knew enough to allow you to, like, if you fuck up the puzzle, you can pick up the blocks and throw them in anger and stuff like that. The only thing that was a bit disappointing is that I tried to swipe it and it didn't work.
Yeah.
The weird thing about that, I don't know if it was like when you had it, but tracking wise, that felt perfect. And that's a game where actually you need to be able to, like, you know, I was trying to stack loads of really randomly shaped objects to get a high stack, and you absolutely need pinpoint accuracy, and, like, you know, it needs to be solid for you to do it, and it was fine. So,
it was carefully placing the blocks on top of each other because,
but it worked.
like, if you held them a little bit too high and let them go, they would naturally bounce a little bit and then fall off, and it would fuck your tower up. But then you got to the point where you would just, like, slowly just lowering them and then letting them go.
Like, is it quite telling that, so you're saying this is a game that used the move controls and worked very well? What does it say that, because people are pointing out in the comments, this actually predates VR? This wasn't a VR game originally.
I did not know.
I'd like to play the non-VR version.
So what does it say that So this was a game that already existed and works really well, while all the new VR.
So if it's a
I
game
thought
that-
for
bit,
VR, I think
It utilises physics, and I think obviously that's a great way to to have a VR version.
See, when I was watching you play it, it just looked really fiddly. But then if you're like doing it yourself,
not
it doesn't feel like
it's a
that.
sense of the weight of the objects. You can.
There
really
are
sense
moments
that.
where if you pick up, say if you pick up a block and you want to turn it 180 degrees to the other side, that was fiddly.
Yeah.
That when I was
found
doing
myself,
that,
like flicking in that until it got to the right
the
position.
flicking stuff is what I had to do, and then that kind of made you feel like you weren't holding the object right.
Yeah.
But if you were turning it 90 degrees, that was perfect. Like it worked perfectly. It felt fantastic, and placing the objects felt fantastic. I think you're right, Sean. That bringing up that this was not a VR game. I think it does make a difference because you're converting an existing game to VR rather than trying
everyone
to
says that's a
create a
bad
VR
thing.
game.
Everyone
I don't
says-
think it is a bad thing.
Everyone says, if you create experience this from the ground up, built for VR, you get a much deeper experience. Blah blah blah.
I disagree.
But I think this game works brilliantly.
Yeah.
Do you think it's because it's a simple game?
No, I
it's
think
based
it's
on how
because-
It's because the
you're
game
literally
mechanics
standing.
already work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Like,
and
it's
it's
already
solid,
worked out
yeah.
that it's a solid game. So it's
It's
you
not
know,
leaning on the VR
Yeah.
stuff.
No.
It's
And when they were developing it before VR come about, they were developing a game. And when you're developing a game for VR, a big part of that is how should we try and manipulate VR to
Yeah.
make it feel special.
And experience, novelty,
And
etc.
that kind of so that's when you get the whole, as I said, the 3D cinema thing of suddenly someone's you're suddenly kicking towards the
someone's
camera
thrown a
and
knife and it's
yeah, and it's just gone past your head and stuff. So I just think that game Tumble was the first game that I thought actually there's something in gaming in VR. And this actually works.
And
I was really impressed.
That's not like you put on a VR headset, you're blown away to another world. It's like really incredibly immersive like, experience. It's just like it's quite simple, it's quite relaxing, and it's just really it works so well in VR. So and you can sit down, play it, and that's a great game. I can see myself playing for like 5-10 minutes before going to bed. It's great. Yeah.
Cool.
okay, Job Simulator.
I was the only one that tried this, I think, right?
I played it before on Vive, and I loved it. Yeah, it's
and it's important to note that we've been told by friends that they've played it and they
also
really
had a
liked it
great
as well.
time. Explain what Job Simulator is.
Job Simulator is a game where you sit at a desk and it asks you to do little tasks. You're surrounded by objects, and the idea is that you can pick up anything, move anything, put things, places,
interact with anything
things
on the
happen.
desk. I mean, the full game is actually there's loads of different scenarios. This one we played in a demo is you're sat in an office cubicle, or stood in an office cubicle, and you can interact with everyone on the
And
desk.
the boss turns
There's
up.
also and the boss turns up, and you can. There's other ones. You basically there's other ones where you work in a garage. You work in like a hot dog stand. There's other like demos. Basically,
right, okay, I
it's
didn't
not
know
just the
that.
office. No, this is,
But so this is the Office demo, and I'd seen people play it on Vive, and I was really excited to give it a try. I don't know what went wrong,
it's tracking,
but
again.
it was fucked and like totally broken when I played it. Trying to lean down to pick stuff up, suddenly the desk floated off into the air. Trying to pick stuff up and move it about did not work. Your hands weren't in the right position. There were several moments where one of your hands would just float away, and it was kind of like, what's going on there? It was the first time that I felt a bit of motion sickness, and it was when I picked up I dropped a mouldy donut. And when I went to pick it up, suddenly the desk sort of just went right up close to my face, and I was like, whoa, I'm not happy about that. What's going on? And the one good thing I could say, the one good experience I could take away from it was walking about and it tracking my movement. That was impressive, because at one point I walked out to the edge of my
you can't move far, but what you can move,
yeah,
it works,
and when I moved to the edge of my cubicle and leaned round and looked down the corridor, I was like, fuck. For that moment it worked, and I didn't even know you could do that with PSVR. That is really impressive.
Matt, when you played this on Vive, could you move more than that?
No,
or
no,
is
I
it
mean,
still just in the same space?
It's the same. I mean, I haven't played this on PSVR, but it's the same sort of small space. I also in Vive demo walked into the corridor, and that it's great. You can move around. You can't move around a lot, but what you can, it feels so much more real than just standing in one place, which is obviously what a lot of PSVR titles do. But yeah, that was one of the most solid Vive, one of the early Vive titles I tried, and The environment feels really solid. You can interact with like the telephone, the coffee machine, the photocopier, the computer. It's a great demo. Obviously, we suffer from tracking issues. Other people I've read on Reddit and on other forums, they've had great times. So I don't know, but that a huge part of that game is about tracking, and it didn't work well for us. But that's not to say it won't work for everyone. And I still think in other demos I've tried, it's one of the best VR demos I've tried.
There's definitely a setting there to make it better, because
I think
I've heard reports that it is pretty good once you get.
I think it was needed to collaborate and
calibrate, Matt. Come on,
sort it out.
Can I just want to.
Yeah, there's a few questions.
Well, Sean Wilkins says that he reckons bound VR is essential. Now, I'm intrigued. It's interesting.
I've heard this.
Because yesterday, because I already own Bound and I've completed it, and it's all right.
Shit, we need to log in.
I wasn't bothered, but having played a few games and understanding like how it enhances that sense of scale, which we've mentioned like 10 times already, I am actually really intrigued. So we'll try.
I've heard I knew Bound was getting a VR update, and it was actually cheap a few weeks ago. But
you were asking me what the game was about, right? So tell him what Bound.
Yeah. If people haven't played Bound,
I mean, you mentioned it on the show.
It's so it's a 3D platformer, but the main hook of it is more than the way it plays. It's the way it looks. Like it's absolutely stunning. All these like mad abstract landscapes, which we are now learning is something that VR is very good for.
Yeah.
But like it is. As a game, it's not that remarkable, but I'm well intrigued to try it in VR.
And I've heard loads of people on Reddit saying, this is actually stunning in VR. Like seeing this abstract environments and be able to manipulate the view and again the sense of scale. So we should try that. At least give like a quick go, but. Yeah, but job simulator are good, but for us, tracking was a bit of an issue. But,
James is texting.
You're checking my message.
You're literally texting.
Also, live show, it's fucking shit.
Also, SMW in the chat, he mentioned about Toy Story 3, and that was one of my favourite 3D movies, because that does 3D in such a subtle way, and he's right, when VR games do that in maybe it's much more subtle, I think it's going to get even better.
Talk about 3D movies for a second. You must have seen Avatar.
I saw it 3 times.
Was it weird? Was it weird when they had the photos on the fridge? That really stuck out to me.
I don't remember that scene.
So there was a scene where there was photos on the fridge, and someone was looking at these photos, but the photos were in 3D as well.
Oh.
And I was kind of like...
Well, that's what it's like.
Is that meant to be like, look, they've got 3D photographs? Or is that just them not realising?
I think it was them just getting that wrong. But anyway.
But Avatar, is like the first major 3D film, and it was quite crass in the way it did it. But that was like, well, fucking hell, 3D films are good, and now I don't watch 3D films. James,
that's a good point.
Okay, we got Headmaster next, which
Matt
played.
What's Headmaster? This is the football thing.
Yeah, this is again one of the demos on the demo disc.
This is Kinect Sports for PSVR.
This is the most Kinect game I played, but essentially the background to the game is that you are a shit footballer and you're sent to football prison. It's a game basically where a ball essentially shoots a football and you need to head it towards the goal. In these 3D goals, there are like points markers you hit, and you might get 50 points, 100 points, etc.
Yeah. There
are various like levels and puzzles, and you have to get two stars, 3 stars based on the number of points you get. I think the writing, even in the demo, seems quite sharp. It's got sort of Portal-esque writing. It's I don't know how to describe it, but the writing seems quite good.
I mean, it was like jokey. And, there was a god voice.
It's a good sense of
humour. I guess
humour.
is like Portal.
I mean, the demo I played it is fun. I'm not sure how much it is, and if I will want to pick it up. And also I heard it gets super tough. But
I can't imagine ever actually buying that.
It was immensely satisfying when you like properly turned your head and headed it, and it hit the crossbar, hit like the target. And that I know it won't work, and it could take us years to make it work. But I'm just imagining like a football game in VR, like a proper football game. I don't know how it could ever work if it could, but. Just seeing the ball come up over in 3D and heading it and it like smacking a target, it felt so you've got to try it. Just for that one feeling of hitting it properly on target. It feels, oh my god, it's.
How do you make a full game out of that though?
I don't know if you can, but Headmaster itself, it's I really enjoy what I played. I'm not
Kinect
sure
Sports tried to do like a version of football, didn't they?
No, they did two different types of football, right? The first one was the split screen.
Oh yeah, where you basically just kick your foot and
I can't remember what was it in Kinect Sports 2. I think there was another. I can't remember. Okay, next game.
Okay, Drive Club.
I just read that. Sorry, can we just address?
I just read that.
Can we just address Shrimpy Gaming says the guy with the glasses is hella hot, but who's the creepy guy with the beard? Hello.
That's Sean at Captain Toss on Twitter.
Hella hot. Are you kidding?
It's like someone from Life is Strange.
Life is Strange.
Along with that.
I never thought you were.
No,
hot.
I'm very unattractive. James. Yeah. So Drive Club. Well, where do we even begin?
Drive Club was insane, mostly because of the setup process.
So-
Let's talk about
VR.
what we actually, how we actually play Drive Club, because that's important.
First of all, we rearranged the lounge.
Yeah.
Mostly, so I've got a steering wheel because I went full VR. Never doubt that. I bought a Thrustmaster T150 for steering wheel nerds in the audience, and yeah, it's a major bargain. I got it, whatever. But I wasn't allowed after all the expense I've recently spent. I wasn't allowed to get like a proper racing sort of setup, so I've had to use our old dining room table. Regardless, it doesn't matter. Half an hour later, we had everything set up. And then it's time to play the game. And in reviews, this has been labelled as Vomit Comet Drive Club. Some people said actually they were fine in demo, but the game itself made them feel ill straight away. Other people couldn't handle 30 seconds of this game.
It's fine. It's not. It's.
I mean, right, yeah.
I screamed like a little girl.
The first time James played it, the noises coming out.
Yeah, I haven't giggled that much since like episode 16 or whatever it was. So all of us played. There's like 6 of us at the time, and we all played Drive Club. All with I think I'll say varying levels of sickness. I was on first.
What?
Drive Club.
Yeah, I think you were. Yeah, because
you were the only one who was sick.
So
I wasn't sick.
You play first, and you lasted 30 to 40 seconds.
I got up to lap 2 or 3, and I had to quit.
No, you weren't. You were doing the first lap.
No, I was
no, you were definitely in the first lap.
Check. I was on lap 2 or 3, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
It did seem to be over very quickly.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard that before, James.
There was.
It was on definitely on lap 2 or 3.
There was profuse sweating as well.
So basically,
you took your headset off and went, "I'm feeling hot. I'm feeling hot. I'm feeling hot."
Yeah, feeling hot is the start of bad sickness. So basically, Drive Club on demo we played. You can do a time trial through the forest, or you can do a race with other players through like some European town. When you start a demo, you can basically, you're in like 3D, you can see the track, you see other cars, you can get into the car, you can look around the car for like a cool 3D view. Once you get in the car, you can change things. You can basically set your height and the height of the seat.
That did not work for when I was
so we'll definitely go on to that. But you can change the height of the seat and also like left and right, how far left and right you are in the car. I set a height which I thought was suitable when I started the race, and within
you had to have a booster seat, didn't you? Not the tallest of people.
Within about 10 seconds, I felt unwell. I started getting hot. Basically, so within 10 seconds, the view had shifted like numerous times, and in VR that is horrific. So I'm there, I'm in my lounge, steering wheel tied to a dining room table. We no longer use. This is the new table. For those of you watching on YouTube. And yeah, I was like holding my arms on the steering wheel, and suddenly the entire car was like forward, and that was so disconcerting. The whole thing was moving, and then even on lap 1, I was sinking in the car. Suddenly felt
that's the worst thing is that when you start sinking down, suddenly you're like an old woman.
That's the problem.
I was a child driving my dad's car.
That's the problem that I had, because through my whole first race, like I could barely see over. I don't know, because I couldn't hear you. I had my headphones in, but I heard laughter because I was like properly straining to try.
But just to finish my story, Dave. Dave, we'll come to you in a minute,
mate. Can you get to the good bit, because it's been?
I was almost sick. Based on lap 2 or 3, it jogged so many times. I was like, I can't do it anymore. I'm going to vomit, so I had to stop. But then were you next after me, or?
So tell me about the actual feeling. Well, at what point did you go, I'm in trouble?
Well, I mean, the start of this motion sickness is you get hot, and I was feeling hot, and you start to feel a little bit queasy.
Well, like when? What, like the moment you took off, or?
You said it was the first corner.
The first corner, again, like you're turning. Well, it's the first corner was the left corner. Obviously, I drive. I know the experience of turning around the corner, and maybe it's the feeling of driving left and not having my body shift. And much like the escalator analogy, which you nicked from someone else. Maybe my body thought I had my weight should have shifted, and it didn't, and I just felt like, oh god, okay. And that was bad, but it was more like suddenly the view, like going, shifting in front of my face, going away. That was insane. I don't know what's wrong there.
You know what we were saying earlier? I mean, Sean Wilkinson's just said, like, he doesn't drive, and he gets car sickness, but he didn't feel any issues with Drive Club.
Yeah.
Maybe that is because he doesn't drive, and it's
Yeah.
I don't know, I mean,
he's not expecting.
car
that
sickness,
feeling,
everyone gets car sickness. I guess if they're in if they're not driving, they're reading a book. Like I think a lot of people experience that. Is that car sickness or
No, I've never
whatever that
heard
is?
that.
Yeah, but no, you know what
I've
I'm
just
saying,
never had drive sickness. I've
Where
never
if
had
you like
motion
read
sickness.
a book or something in the car, and basically if they're in your peripheral vision, you can see the outside whizzing by.
It's
That's
not
what's
a
going to make
problem.
you sick. And
Yeah.
I've had that in the past and whatever. But this is more
It's
about
it's
the view.
car sickness, well, travel sickness is when because your brain because bits of liquid in your ear can sense movement, and it's when you can't see movement but you can feel.
Yeah, you
movement.
can sense it. Yeah.
But of course, with VR, it's the other way around. You can see it, but you can't feel it.
Yeah.
So
And
still,
again,
that mismatch is still there.
Sean is saying in chat, you can adjust height and depth, and we
can.
change height and depth, but
But then
basically
it changes
it's
when
suddenly
you're driving.
That it was
shifting.
fucking
Although,
Forgetting
for everyone
about
else that played towards the end, it did seem to get better. I don't know how or why, but
Right,
for me, it was horrific.
So to explain, the tracking of your head doesn't really work, and it goes up and down, and that's broken. Like
I
it
mean,
feels
for
broken.
me, basically, when I was like moving forward and back to maybe I'll zoom into the steering wheel and stuff, the whole car was moving, as opposed to like that the view of the car locking and me moving forward like zooms in and see things closer and further away. I was moving forward, the car was moving forward. It was, I mean, even stood. I think even before I started, I said, "Guys, I feel a bit weird playing this."
Now, one of the things that people have said about Drive Club, I've heard on many different websites, is that it looks like shit, and it does when you watch it, especially when you're watching
it's
on
low
telly.
resolution.
It looks
looks
like
fucking
it looks
shit.
like Metropolis Street Racer.
But-
But
That
it is
did not
immersive.
matter
No.
after once I'd hit the accelerator and I was going. You don't even think about that. You're not sitting there looking at how bad the textures are and how the trees. I mean, the trees look atrocious, but that's not even a concern.
Yeah.
You don't even think about that stuff when you got that helmet on.
Yeah.
So if you're worried about how shit it looks, don't worry about it,
that's
because once
really
you've got the
not-
helmet on,
it does
you're
look
racing,
shit,
it's not
but
a
it's,
problem.
and I will say, so I played the first one and I quit for the end, but I played the second time. The first lap I felt a bit queasy, but actually after that I felt fine. So maybe it's me getting my VR legs, as they call it, or what, but yeah, just the sense of you have to look in the rear view mirror and the wing mirror is amazing. You can see a car coming on the right hand side, left hand. That is,
when you look over and see
even
someone
though-
go past you,
even though
and
the
stuff.
graphics are fucking shit, you know, like you can see things, and that's pretty. And that we obviously had the wheel as well, and the pedals, and it was
Imagine
immersive.
looking back on it like you've just said about a game. Although the graphics are shit, it doesn't matter because you're seeing stuff.
No, I mean, like,
Box quote.
Do not expect Drive Club graphics as you see now on PS4. It's very much a pared down experience. But I mean, this thing about VR and immersion, it's got the. Although I was feeling sick, you feel immersed. You can see like the inside of the car. We had the steering wheel. Maybe it was a little bit better for that. But
see, I found
it was interesting and good.
One of the things I found about it was I crashed constantly, and the reason I was laughing so much is I was just thinking my body felt like it should be experiencing pain because I was smashing into stuff so hard, and like the car was spinning and stuff, and I was even going like this because you're expecting you need to lead
like
into
bracing
this.
you.
And it doesn't happen, and it just feels so odd. It's such an odd feeling.
The other thing that I think needs to be out there about Drive Club, and remember we were only playing a demo, so we didn't know what you can and cannot do. But there's a lot of people that have played this, and I've seen their reaction videos, and they're going, wow, I feel I can control the car better than I ever have because I'm bringing my real world experiences into it. They didn't mention that there's a lot of assists on by default.
Well, at least in the demo, I mean, it could be different.
Yeah,
whatever
as I say,
the
the full game could be totally different. But
in the demo, at least, yeah.
But in the demo, the auto braking is on quite a bit, and I did not feel that I could transfer my experiences other than looking around while I'm driving. There wasn't moments where I thought I should brake now because I'm used to travelling. Of course, I'm not a race car driver. I don't know that shit. So I'm not having a pop at that. But there's a lot of these weird comments being branded about without any
All
real...
banded.
All bandied about.
Fucking hell. Have a beer.
You play. What do you think, Sean? You played it as well, didn't you?
I was entertained, but I wasn't blown away by it. Like it was fine. I did again. I had that thing where I was like, I think I'm better at this than I was at regular Drive Club. And then, as you pointed out, there's loads of assists on. I think.
Yeah.
It was all right. I did the other track that you guys didn't do, didn't I?
You did a time trial,
and I was quite happy to just potter around doing that. But it wasn't like, fuck, I need to buy this. It was just, it's good. It was all right.
Yeah, again, Sean says in chat you can adjust brake assist. Yeah, you might be able to.
Okay.
Maybe
we should have a look at that
We fully
tonight.
admit we didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just
well,
went
if
in
we want to start tonight, I better start now. So start setting up the room.
Okay, next game.
Keep talking and nobody explodes.
Ah, okay.
Right.
This was great.
A lot of fun.
Yeah,
A
so
lot of
this
fun.
is a party game whereby one of you wears a headset and those of you wearing... I haven't actually tried it in headset view. I've only played it in the other person's view. But one of you wearing a headset sees a 3D bomb. I can't really describe it. You guys have played it. So what do you see as the person wearing a headset?
So basically, yeah, there's a bomb on a table. It's like a suitcase almost. It's like
Yeah.
opened up, and there's like a series of panels on it. But then crucially, everyone, like no one else can see the bomb. So you've got to go, right, I've got the panel with like some wires on it. I've got one with like some numbered panels on it. I've got a big yellow button that says car on it.
or not.
That was
And
the
then-
question
that
that
never-
kept
that
getting
never
asked.
came up.
Yeah, and then everyone else in the room just has basically a PDF file, don't they? Which is, or in our case, Matt had kind of printed it out
I
for
got
us. and
full
put it-
VR and I printed it. You can download. So this game basically is a bomb disposal game, but you can go to the website. I just searched "Keep Talking, Nobody Explodes," but you can go to the website and download a PDF
Yeah.
of the manual, and I printed it out in a full folder because
Which is actually really helpful.
Yeah,
it's really useful.
but for those of you not wearing a headset, on screen all you see is you can essentially view like PDF pages on screen. I know. But so we had that. We also had the printed out version. But yeah, so I only took part of the person trying to help the person who had the bomb. But so you tried. Who else tried it in the room? Was it just you?
I didn't know. I was about to, and then the pizza came.
Yeah, of course.
That motherfucker was hungry.
You try as well. It's like,
what?
You were the
had
bomb
the
guy
headset on.
once. weren't you?
Yes, I was there twice.
Yeah.
I did two of them, and it was.
That was when you phoned, didn't you? Because Matt couldn't be bothered to give you the answer.
Oh, well, that was it.
we had
Yeah,
five- we had
right,
five-
can I just talk about
we
this?
had
Because
five-
like we had 10 seconds
It was
left.
5 seconds, Dave.
It was 10.
No, if you had 10, I would have tried.
I turned around and I went, right, 10 seconds left. And Matt, who was in charge of the manual and telling me
I
the
had the
instructions
binder,
to
Pooh
do,
had
turned
the
around and
TV
went,
screen.
well, we ain't going to do it now.
No,
So
it
I
was
had
5 seconds.
10 seconds of knowing that my best mate had given up hope on me and was
No.
quite happy with the fact that I was going to blow up.
It was 5.
Well, we ain't going to do it now.
Mate,
I
just
think-
light a
Bye,
cigarette,
Dave.
sit down,
Not even
just
a
forget
little
it.
nice,
Yeah.
nice little goodbye.
I think I said it's 5
see if
seconds.
you can knock a wank out.
I said it's 5 seconds, guys. We fucked it. You know. Hands
And
off
I was
the
like,
binder.
oh, okay.
But I do think this will be excellent at Christmas. If any of you watching or listening is like,
Good stocking filler.
yeah.
Ladies and
If
gentlemen.
any of you listening,
No,
listening,
if
watching
you're
this, guys,
spending-
I reckon
if
with
you're
the family, it'd
Yeah,
be brilliant.
if you're spending it with the family, this is perfect.
Because
Yeah.
anyone playing doesn't need experience of games. Basically, if you haven't played games before and you've got a headset on, all you need to do is basically describe what you're seeing in the 3D bomb. Yes, you can manipulate the bomb, so there is a bit of like having to hold R1 or R2 or whatever you have to do. But everyone else, you're just literally reading from a binder printed out thing or on screen. You're literally reading instructions of how to defuse certain types of elements on the bomb.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
at Christmas, I reckon that'd be an absolute
Yeah,
blast.
and it was the
Guys, I mean,
it was the
no?
biggest it was the biggest and like it was the closest to feeling like being on an episode of Nightmare because you know you
right,
had
I'm
a team
looking
of
at
stuff
this
doing
and there's this and that and what's
spell card.
Is that a reference to me having no hair?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely, if you've got a PSVR or you're getting a PSVR for before Christmas and you're spending it with your family, then I really, really, truly recommend this because I mean anyone can do the bomb disposal stuff. It's 2 buttons and you know the D-pad.
Yeah.
I reckon
and
excellent at Christmas with families.
Anyone can read out the instructions.
And also it's not like a limited multiplayer thing. Anyone in the room obviously can shout and look at it. One person in a headset.
Print it off though because the alternative is reading PDFs off the TV and that does not work.
I feel like you
Not
need
brilliant.
both. I mean, one person.
It was actually it was really good because I could be looking one thing up while you were finding something
Print out
else.
2 manuals.
Yeah, I do actually have that.
It's. I mean, the thing. It's such a cliche,
Oh, here
but
we
something
go,
for like 1980s, like the Nightmare, would be amazing on this actually.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Yeah.
you know, where you've got
Absolutely.
like 3 people helping you to get through something.
Yeah.
It would really work.
Where the fuck has Matt just gone?
I'm gonna get the manual to show people.
Oh, he's all proud of it. He don't want it to go unnoticed.
For those of you watching on YouTube, here is what I printed out. The full binder. Look, there's 23. You can't see it, but there's 23 pages of bomb disposal instructions here. Yeah, I'll definitely recommend doing that. It's
Great.
awesome fun. Next game.
Okay, so finally we got Res.
Right,
Oh,
okay.
Is this the final game? Okay, just before we get to Raze, there's loads of other games we didn't try. We didn't try Battlezone, which I
Why are
really
you
want to
bringing
try.
them up
Here
Here are the games we didn't try this
basically
week.
Battlezone is one of the biggest launch titles we didn't try. So
Okay.
I hear it's good. Res.
So just about.
No, there's loads of ones we didn't try. Like, I didn't play
what else did we try?
Here They Lie.
Okay.
James, what's the next game?
What's the next game? Res.
Res.
Okay, so
Res.
Res was the game that made me want a PSVR.
Now this worked in 2 stages, didn't it?
It did. We played a few levels last night, didn't we?
Yeah.
And it was the game where I wanted headphones so that I couldn't hear anything else in the room. I wanted it really loud. It was the first time that I turned up the volume settings on the PSVR. And okay, so let's just focus on Res. Res is the same. Is it 5 levels?
5 levels.
It's the same as you always remember Res. For those of you that haven't played Res, it's a kind of legendary. It's a very, I guess it's a cult game.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's pretty.
It's well known.
No, before it came out,
I think
before it came out in the West, everyone was already on about it.
But I think it is a cult. It could be considered as a cult game, right? And it's a game. It's kind of rhythm action, but not. You don't actually have to do anything in time with the music, but all your actions end up to create things that are in time with the music, from shooting enemies to shooting items and stuff like that, and you're sort of through this Tron sort of world, flying through it, shooting things and creating music around you. And it was perfect for VR because it was very basic looking. It was something that we've played before, so we knew how to play the game, except for Matt. Matt had never played Res
before. It was my first time.
Which meant that he controlled the cursor in the middle. For those of you who played Res, you'll know what I'm talking about. The cursor in the middle, Matt was controlling with his head movement rather than the stick in his hand.
It was
hilarious.
It was one way of doing it.
For those watching on YouTube, Matt was doing this.
So how should I do it? So I was obviously using my head as like the cursor. How are you guys playing it?
You can move the cursor around with the left stick.
So what are you using?
Right stick.
So the head you're using just for view.
Yeah, just looking around.
There was like a sort of seizure quality.
There are moments where you.
I've got whiplash actually.
There are moments where you move your head and you can tag things.
Yeah,
so
but primarily you don't do that.
No. It was incredible because it didn't try and change things to fit VR. It basically wrapped the world around you, and you can. What I found was that it was an advantage because there was like Res, when you play Res, is a fixed view and it would flick between angles, but essentially it was a fixed view, other than that you can move the screen around slightly by moving your cursor to the edge of the screen, right? Well, this one, there were moments where I would be able to see enemies not spawn, but come like from far away, start. So I was already planning moves because I could look around and see where things were coming from, and I had it felt like I had an advantage. So I was shooting away, but also looking around and judging what I was going to do next. And we all know Res, amazing game, fucking brilliant music, incredible experience, and this just made it that bit better. That was until today. Sean and I
and James to.
We'll get to
that. Yeah.
Sean and I played the new thing. So this version of Res is called what?
Res Infinite.
Res Infinite.
It's got the first 1 to 5 areas.
Yeah,
but
and
also
that are all playable in VR. And then it's got something called Area X. Is it?
Something like that. Yeah.
Area X, yeah.
My word. So Area X is something that was specifically made for VR, and the only changes that it makes to the gameplay itself is that now you've got a little bit more free movement. You're not in a like an open world style. You can go do what you want where you want. Everything is still dragging you forward, but there are moments where you have the opportunity to travel from point to point, and you do so by hitting R1, I think, to sort of boost, and you travel the way you're looking, right? What I didn't expect was how everything about Res had been refined for the new generation, if you know what I mean. So, like, all the items were redesigned to look new, and all the, everything you've seen in Res before was kind of redesigned to look like a next gen version of like, not when I say next gen, I don't mean the current gen. I just mean like a step up from Res.
Yeah,
as
because
we know it, right?
you're playing the old levels, and because they're so stylized, like you're playing through them, and you're like, fuck man, these haven't aged. Like this still looks really good.
Yeah,
and then you play the new one,
and you go, fuck yeah, no, this is better. And they do things with 3D space. Res, when you're playing the old games, it kind of feels like you're actually in a circle room with a screen around like the walls, right? And you're looking around and looking the screen against the walls. Area X feels completely 3D, and that there are stars around you, and
you're fucking in it. Like
it does this incredible thing where it plays with light. The light in Area X is sharper, and it doesn't bleed into the area around it. And the reason for that is that it kind of like when you're playing normal Res, you can see the edges of the rubber around your eyes, and you can see that there's where the screen starts and where it ends. When you play Area X, there's none of that because there's a lot of pitch black with stars, So you feel
you're not as aware of the limitations.
You
of the
can't
field of view.
you can't see that field of view stuff. Like you are there, like you are in there. And then about halfway through, I'd say about 3/4 of the way through the level, something happens, and we're not going to spoil it, and we're not going to say anything. And to be honest with you,
because just to be clear, I haven't actually played Area X. Like Sean and Dave have. Farley's played a bit.
And we'll get to that.
But I basically have not seen it. I may have seen like little clips here in video, but I haven't experienced it.
And you have definitely not seen what I'm going to refer to, but not tell you what it is. Something happens about 3/4 of the way through. And if I was to tell you what it was, you'd probably think it would sound shit. But my fucking God, my jaw dropped. And I was like, I could not believe what I was seeing. And I could not. The experience of seeing that stuff and obviously
it feels like it's beyond your comprehension, doesn't it? Almost
and
you have not seen anything like it.
And I don't want to.
It sounds amazing.
I don't want to overhype it because it is such a simple thing.
Well, you've done that.
No, it's such a simple thing. It's not anything. As I say, if I told you what it was now, you'd think,
shit.
What?
Is this better than what at the centre of the cube?
A little bit better. It is actually people.
It's the poster child for VR, and as such, it's beyond explanation, isn't it? Like you have to just see it.
You have to experience it. There is a part of my brain.
So just say, basically, when they were playing it, basically, we turned the TV off so no one else in the room saw.
Yeah, no one else saw.
When you play PSVR, there's a social screen, which is basically everything you see in the headset is also on TV. But for Area X, we made sure we turned the TV off, so only people who played it have seen it. So I do not know what they're talking about at all.
And if you're listening to this and you're curious, don't just look at a video of it.
No, please don't.
Won't be the same.
Again, it's like me telling you what it was. What I'm saying is that if you plan to get PSVR next year, get Res.
Yeah.
If you have PSVR and you haven't bought Res, buy Res. If you've got PSVR and you own Res, then this Area X is the thing you should show people to say, look at what VR can do.
Yeah,
because that is the first time where I was completely blown away, completely gobsmacked at what virtual reality can do. Yeah. And it wasn't me being in a world pretending to be Batman. It wasn't me throwing objects around and fucking around. It wasn't realism. It felt like a planetarium. But
like something that could not exist outside of this specific technology.
Exactly.
Like you could theoretically buy a Batman suit and some toys and put it on,
throw them around and shit.
Yeah.
You
cannot
never experience anything like
that.
And someone said I think it was on Giant Bomb, they tried it a couple of weeks ago, the Area X, and they said we only played Area X. And he said, or was it John? It might have been John. He said, this is the point now where there needs to be another Res game. Yeah. And after playing Child of Eden, I thought maybe they could never do another Res game again. After playing that, I want another Res game. I want another 10 areas or something.
Yeah.
I want, and it needs to be on VR. It has to be on
so
VR.
did you think, obviously, so the first 5 areas, and in previous reses it was just it was fixed. You can move. This is the Erics. You can move around, right? So do you think the next res game will just fully be move aroundable?
It will be the same thing. It will be the same thing. Whether that's essential or not, I don't think it is.
And that will work in non-VR. You think just being able to move around?
I don't know if I don't ever want to play that. I never want to play Area X non-VR.
Yeah.
But if they release Res 2, and people watching listening, if they release Res 2, you don't care for VR, you haven't got it, and it was that in VR. I mean, that, but in a 2D, I'm sure that's still work.
I wouldn't play it. No, genuinely.
If the VR version was on the table as well, I would wait and play the VR version.
I would wait until I had a VR helmet to play it. The next Res game, if there's going to be a next Res game, say they announce a new Res game, that has to be on VR.
Can I just butt in? Alex, I'm not reading the chat because you keep just posting fucking riddles. So, we're not reading it.
I'm definitely reading the chat. I'm quite entertained by the chat. But we'll go back for a chat in a minute and after the end, and I'll answer your questions. But yeah.
So yeah.
So Res, Eric's.
Sean, we said we wouldn't say anything to each other, and we didn't really. We sort of made a couple of comments. Sean, you said, I don't know if how serious you were being, but you said it was almost brought you to tears.
Yeah.
And
no joke.
Yeah, and for me,
shit. I know. I have no idea.
So Sean played it, said it almost brought him to tears. I played it, and I was like, "That's VR. Like that is it. That is the poster child."
I've read reviews say it's almost like a religious experience. It changed what you think VR is. Even
absolutely,
about,
it totally changed what I thought of VR. James played it, and within 10 minutes took his headset off and went, "I'm stuck. I can't do it. What do I need to do?"
No, it was okay. I was really enjoying it up until the point where I got stuck. But I could not see how I could progress from that point. Because I spent about 2 or 3 minutes trying to figure out what I was supposed to do there. And getting more and more sort of like, what do I do? I have no idea what to do.
You're a fucking doctor, mate. How are you not working this shit out?
No, because, in the beginning, like the bit that I was stuck on...
The bit
that I was stuck on, which where I was stuck.
Yeah.
Right?
I knew instantly. Yeah.
Yeah, because the thing is in the beginning, like some of those bits was fine. Like I managed to activate them, they started going. But then, on the cursor, it's got it shows you kind of it gives you a hint as to where
things are.
Yeah. So I'm tracking around, looking at that, but there's nothing to select. You can't select anything.
No, but as I can't say anything. But you obviously didn't take on my advice.
I know but that's because we had to start recording, and there was
to be fair, Father was playing about 6:45.
Yeah, because we decided that we were all going to play it before the show. Then we found out it was 20 minutes, so we said, well, Sean could do it, and then one other person could do it. And then Matt said, you do it, Dave. So I played it, took the headset off, and James was like,
give it to me.
No. And he was like, no, James, we're doing
only
the
because,
show.
Yeah, fuck off, you didn't say that.
I did.
Only because...
said, come on, mate.
You never said anything like that.
Only
because you were sitting there, and you were like...
we all looked fucked after
that's
playing
why I
it.
was give me that now. I want to try it.
I put it this way, I'm playing it again before I go home.
I want to.
I'm going to play after this.
I think that's enough. I think that is enough.
No, I've got more questions to you, Via, because for weeks or for every time you said, before you try VR, you've said, I think VR is pretty much basically not one of those things you go to a fairground or a theme park. It's it's like an experience and you go home. Has your view changed about that?
Yeah, slightly. I can't afford one. If I could afford one, I'll buy one tomorrow.
Yeah. But I've been to theme parks, Dave, and it's awesome. But also that's very much like you go there, have a bit of fun, and come home. This for me, obviously, it's made more of an impact, on me. The stuff I've seen, experienced. I think, God, the potential, the excitement. Do you think? Yeah. Do you think? It's a bit of a big question, but do you think VR could be the future of gaming? Do you think that's going to take it to a different level?
No,
it's always going to be a bit of a novelty, I think.
You think? You don't think
just because of the inconvenience of it.
But you don't think 5-10 years where it's simply a case of it's wireless, you're literally you're just putting a finger on your head and you're playing
in an incredibly simplified way, this is very simplified, it feels a bit like the 3D slider on a 3DS.
Yeah.
As in, like,
Yeah.
it's
Wow.
like...
No.
You've just killed
Okay,
me.
more than that.
No.
Okay, more than that. You just killed it. It is, but it is like... it is
PSVR.
giving you more.
Yeah.
The 3D slider on a 3DS. 350 quid.
But no, it does... It's obviously, it's more than that. But what I mean is, like, it is offering more.
Just getting in shot.
It is offering a lot more, but it's still... You know, it's not completely, like, the future and what everyone's going to be using, I think.
Okay, but it's not everyone. But do you think that this could be like another strand of gaming? Like there's like there's a proper defined
I can
VR
see
gaming element, which is maybe more immersive, more more euphoric. It hits you different experiences. Do you think there's like an avenue for it?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
That's all I need to hear.
Okay, look, we have talked. We've spoken.
Well,
far
we should
longer
probably some
than
closing
I
comments
thought.
on VR and
Well,
the weekend.
We got questions.
Okay, well,
So,
well, no. Let's go on the table and say, what I think of it generally. Price, experience, games, and then we'll do questions.
we've kind of done that though, right?
No,
We kind of-
let's hear some fun.
Okay,
thoughts.
Okay, I'll let you take over this section and show. Come on.
Well,
Let's hear it.
obviously, I think VR is amazing. I mean,
Okay, Neil.
I think for the I'll carry on.
Ask others.
I'll carry on. I think for the money. I mean,
Now time for my final four.
I think for the money, I think it's well worth the money. I've had incredible experiences already, and there's so much more we haven't played. And for me personally, I was excited to be there day one to see how things are going to grow and change. What it would be like in a year's time. I want to see developers saying, okay, well, day one we tried this, it didn't really work. In like 6 months' time, they're going to use control differently, or they're going to develop games differently, and that's what I'm here for. And I think I've tried Vive, tried Oculus, but I'm not saying this isn't better, but this is. Actually, the quality of games I'm actually really surprised with. I could spend like another 150 quid on games. There's so much games I want to buy.
Yeah, don't.
I mean, I've already had to block my own credit.
They have they've done really well at giving you a lot of things to play
The
with.
variety of
even if you
software is so
don't-
impressive.
Yeah.
People think, it's many games for it, it's experiences. But actually, there's tons of stuff I could buy now. Maybe it's a novelty, maybe I just want to try it for the sake of it, but yeah, I think there's actually loads, and hopefully there's a good drip feed of experiences and games over the next few months. And Farpoint is a big FPS coming out in January. I'm quite looking forward to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really impressed. I knew, from months ago, I said PSVR is going to be rubbish. What's the point? It's never going to be as powerful as a PC. Never going to be as good. It's not as good in say tracking, but generally, I'm so impressed, and I'm super glad I bought it.
I think we should leave that there. I think that's. I don't know. Not being a dick, but like, I think you've summed up your thoughts, and your thoughts are more important than our thoughts on it because you're.
I'm glad
more
you've
into-
accepted that.
You're more into VR than the three of us.
I wouldn't hear for people who haven't tried it, James. You guys potentially are more VR.
I think we would all buy one if we could have.
Yeah,
bought
I mean,
one.
absolutely. If I had the money, absolutely, I'd buy one of these.
Did you
straight
come
away.
here thinking that?
No.
Yeah.
But
I didn't,
you
yeah,
tried it before, so it must be.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely, I'd buy one of these if I had the cash. But
Yeah.
if once this hits like sub 200, I'll buy one because it's
Yeah.
Well,
I think
what do you
sub
think, Sean?
200 is the
How much
sweet
VR have
point,
you tried,
isn't it?
and what do you think?
I mean, I've had very little experience with it prior to this, and I was basically the same as these two, sort of coming here expecting to enjoy myself, but be like, right, that was good, but I'm satisfied and I can walk away from it.
Well,
Whereas now I'm like, same as you guys, I can't afford it, but yeah, there's
definitely- you're
potential
definitely
there,
even without like the life changing experience that these guys have with Rez, I still would want it. It's I played enough that made me feel this.
I mean, maybe I doubt it is a hassle. You got to put it on if you're playing Drive Club. You get the steering wheel, the tape, whatever.
Yeah.
It's a hassle, but I want to think in a few weeks' time I'm still retrying it and trying new things.
So, if you're listening, Sony, just send us one. We are fucking hell.
Three.
Uh,
We
I
need
could
three.
probably get a
need a
refund on
camera.
this.
I need a camera.
These guys, these
Also,
guys
some
need
working move
cameras.
controllers.
Yeah.
We
I
need
do
three
not need
and
that.
3 cameras and all the
6.
games.
Right.
Yeah, so we should probably go through. For those of you listening on the podcast, we're going to go through some from YouTube comments now.
YouTube's got we got tweets.
Yeah,
so
we got them as well.
Can
go
I
on.
go to the bathroom again?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
We're near
Just
the
1
end.
minute. 1 minute.
We're
just
near the
1
end.
Okay.
You went out like half an hour ago.
Go.
Yeah, go.
Right. Okay, so we'll do the YouTube comments here
Yeah,
now.
so basically at this point you can answer any question. It's not going to go on the podcast, so anything.
Was there anything we missed between all the fucking riddles that he carried on with after apologising?
Capone is here.
Capone is here.
He's obviously angry about the fact we're doing this.
Well, he says anyone
I need to address that. So I guess I maybe wasn't clear enough. In my mind, I was clear when I said we're going to basically do a live podcast. I mean, and obviously it's PSVR launch weekend. A lot of people may have thought that we were doing live PSVR gaming on the podcast. We weren't ever intended to do that. So I think it's just Capone getting confused. But I'm sorry if you thought we're going to do PSVR gaming. We're not doing that. It's just really a stop.
Yeah, it's hard to do, isn't it? Because you can't stream through your
also,
PS4.
it's going to look shit. It's lame, but you've got to sort of experience it. I was just playing.
No, it can be done. Giant Bomb has shown that they can.
Yeah, I mean,
do that,
there's
but we
experiences
have
they've
not
shown
got
which are
the setup the Giant Bomb has got, so it can't be done.
I mean, I must say I'm super impressed with all the riddles. I mean, Alex
What are the riddles?
Benzie.
What are these riddles?
Alex
I haven't
Benzie
seen any.
is a riddler in real life. It's there's fuckloads of riddles on that YouTube on the YouTube chat. I can't quite believe it, but is there any questions? Actual legit questions?
I can't find any amongst all the other stuff. No.
No. There's SM0 or Oosteru or SM0 on Twitter. Now you play PSVR. Do you think Microsoft need to have VR and Xbox to compete in the future? I think definitely Microsoft have announced, or no, they basically said Scorpio with VR compatible. They've obviously currently got an agreement with Oculus. You know, there's an Xbox One pad and every Oculus kit, and you can play Xbox One games on Oculus. So it would make sense that they're going to basically partner with Oculus. So maybe there'll be an Xbox branded one. Maybe every Oculus will work on Xbox One, but obviously Xbox have got AR, and a lot of people are saying basically AR and VR are both going to be huge. Arguably, actually, some people said AR will be bigger than VR because it's less immersive, but for work, you can have some glasses or goggles on. You can see
even further away, isn't it?
Yeah, it's even further away than VR. But so I mean, Xbox have got their own thing as their own pies, which is AR, but it feels like they're going to need something VR wise to compete. Actually, I will say, Sony have done amazing to get it out in the same year of Vive as an Oculus. I mean, they didn't have to. They maybe should have waited, but they've done it, and they've done it at a bargain price by using old technology. And sure they could have done like something for £500 using really good tracking, but they didn't. They thought, let's just get it out. Yeah. And I personally, I've got to admire that. And they've actually got it out in the same year. They made it. It's really relevant. They're the only console with a VR solution right now. Xbox could be a year away.
And for most normal people, it is the only VR solution because of the price.
Everyone thinks PC gaming, £1,500. I'm not going to bother cables, etc. But this is Sony have got the chance to make it go properly mainstream, and I hope God knows where we'll be in 6 months' time or after Christmas. Already on Reddit and forums, I've seen sort of. I'm not going to say it's going to explode as much, but I've seen Wii-style stories of I let my partner, my wife, my grandparent, my mum, my dad play this, and they were amazed. Obviously this isn't Wii price. This is £350.
I'm still really sceptical if this is ever going to be like mainstream because.
I think what you define as mainstream will change. We think gaming and like putting a headset is niche, but in 10 years' time,
mainstream is like getting like lots of people to play stuff like Wii Sports, and I don't.
There was an immediacy to that. Like, there's a remote way around.
You're not going to get a grandma putting that on and playing Res.
No, it's a special moment.
Fucking killer.
Okay, so a few more YouTube questions. So, Chris O'Regan, did I get a new camera? I use the old camera, Chris, and the new one.
Is there a difference between?
It's just design. It's the same technology.
Same innards.
New camera, old camera. I use the old. It was fine.
Do one more and then.
Richard Warren, I would like to see other phone manufacturers jumping into VR. I mean, Google have already announced their Daydream VR. Samsung have got Gear VR. Apple will do it. Actually, the weird thing, this is an interface thing. We'll save it. PS Pro. I mean, that's an interesting question, Sean. Will PS Pro significantly improve the quality of PSVR? I mean, currently the only PSVR, PS Pro game we've seen or people have seen is Farpoint.
The problems with
the
PSVR
Farpoint demo. I'll continue.
It's not the problem with PSVR is not down to the
power of the console.
But if the console had more power, you can do more. You can do more frame dropping. You can put better consoles. I mean, the headset is basically the display, so we can't change the display, but we can change what goes to the display. So actually,
but they can maybe if there's another one of these like this time next year with a higher resolution display that only works with PS Pro, then
So the only game people have seen is Farpoint, and Farpoint has better textures, high resolution, and maybe something else. But people have said there is a notable difference between the PS Pro version of Farpoint and what they've played previously. So, I mean, for me, I really want to get a PS4 Pro way more now. because of this. I'm interested to see what the actual differences are, how many there are, how developers actually utilise it. But I'm much more interested in PS4 Pro now.
Cool. All right.
So,
Okay. Right.
Some questions from Twitter and
we've still got questions.
There's easy cut. Right. Okay. Should we go to? Right. Okay. Should we go to the questions from Twitter?
Yeah.
And then we'll wrap up.
How many are there?
There's a million.
There's a
so
few.
let's try and wrap
But
up.
we've already talked about a lot of this stuff already,
Okay,
so it's
cool.
fine. So if you do want to tweet us, it's at Computer Game Pod on Twitter. Martin Baker says, how hard was it to trust the others when you had the headset on? What was the worst thing you did to someone with one on?
Yeah.
Well, we already know the answer to that, don't we?
If you check Twitter, then
go to our Computer Game Pod on Twitter and you'll see a picture of David and Sean playing
And also,
VR.
David also tweaked my nipple as well when we were
okay.
playing.
Oh, I did. Yeah. Sorry about that.
It's easy and obvious to want to do things when people are playing VR, but I wasn't.
Do you know what? After I did that photo where I got my arsehole out
You
next to
spoiled it, but go to twitter.com/computergamepod.
next to Sean's head.
Meanwhile, I was having a religious experience.
Sean's crying and there's a bomb near him.
What I will say, for the first 2 minutes of playing that Res game in VR, I was worried about what you guys were going to do to me. And then 2 minutes in, I completely forgot about it. And it's just it detached myself from anything going on around me. It was So you kind of forget that.
Not as childish as you. So it's,
no, I'm a bit of a dick.
Right, so I actually want to answer his YouTube questions, so we'll wrap through these.
Yeah. Can I do one of these actually? Because Xurius says should Sony have waited a year before releasing this? No. I think this was good to release.
It's important. They've got to get out. The business thing is fail fast. You've got to learn. Just ship a product. They did that. They've got a year of learning now. That's important.
I think they really nailed it. Just for a first.
They've got it
out at a cut price. They've used old technology to get it out, and they've got a VR solution that Microsoft haven't got. That's huge. And they've got a year of learning. Yeah. Next year they'll have room scale, better controllers. Who knows? But it's so important to have a year of learning.
Yeah.
Okay. Phil Waters says, Sean, is this the new Res hat?
Okay, so I'm going to have to explain what the Res hat is.
Yeah, because I saw that and thought, what is Res hat?
So back in the
last night.
back in the Dark Zero days, we did a shit video shot on my fucking phone.
I have seen this.
So basically, when Res came out on the Xbox 360, there was this thing where you could connect multiple controllers and they all sort of vibrated with the music, and the idea was you're supposed to put one on your lower back and then one on your lap and then one by your feet, and it was meant to feel like this sort of weird flow.
Hello, Amazon. I need a refund.
Sorry, for those of you that are not watching on the video, Sean just nearly knocked the PSVR headset off of the table
whilst demonstrating physical vibrations.
Yeah.
So basically, we thought it'd be hilarious to get a couple of controllers and put them in a beanie hat and wear it while playing the game, which turns out was fucking horrendous. I think I also taped one to my mouth, which was vibrating my teeth.
Yeah.
So that was the Res hat.
Yeah.
Funny. Well, not really, because it doesn't vibrate your skull.
That's a no then.
So no, it's not quite the same, unfortunately.
Okay. Sinu says, have any of you felt like chundering yet?
I mean,
Matt, I think.
Yeah, the drive club was the worst.
Matt was the only one that
but I had second going, I was fine. So
from the whole of that, I felt that was really overblown. That whole thing about feeling sick. I didn't feel sick from any of that.
Yeah,
I imagine it'll get some people. So some people get motion sickness from just first-person shooters on a telly.
There's been sickness this weekend. Actually, genuinely, I think I thought we'll all feel really sick at points, but it's really drive.
There was one moment where I had a bit of a headache after playing. I can't remember what game, but I've had a bit of a headache after playing one game. But
I thought we were a lot worse, but generally, I think we've been alright. But
okay.
But also, it's worth noting. I noticed on a lot of the games when you're playing them, there's a radial blur. So the very sort of edge of what you can see is it starts blurring it, which that's not a limitation of the headset, because you can see it on the TV as well, which I think is a thing, because with 3D stuff in the cinema, the reason a lot of people get headaches is because naturally your eyes scan around the picture.
I've had that,
and that's what gives you a headache.
You start looking at a blurry bit. And
the technology is you're supposed to just rest your eyes in the middle, and I'm wondering if that blur thing that they've done on this is to sort of encourage you to do that, so you do just stare at it rather than looking around. So that's interesting. I wonder if that's a thing to help prevent sickness.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see how the ways they avoid that feeling, because it will put people
I mean,
off.
how Trackmania is getting a VR update. That's going to be insane.
God knows how they're going to do that.
James.
Okay, Spooks on Road says, what does the technology thing mean for like ASMR, Sean?
Yeah, we haven't.
Well, not a lot,
the
because-
video out there does ASMR videos. We haven't tried it yet. Has it?
Yeah, probably not a huge amount, because when you have because people are doing like 360-degree ASMR videos, but the audio is still just in stereo, so it's not like you can move
there's
around
no
in it
3D
and it
audio.
pans. Yeah, so the
We haven't
audio
actually
is in
discussed
3D.
that at all tonight. The 3D
What?
audio.
Yeah, because
I
that works
didn't-
really well.
Yeah,
Doesn't
that's
it?
Yeah,
really- that
I
really
mean, it
works.
won't notice, but I didn't really notice it. So
Well, because
I
this
think
is
it must work
for
very
a
well.
boring sound nerd, it's really interesting, because I've always shaken my head whenever people refer to like 5.1 headphones, because it's like, no, half the way that your understanding of positioning of sound works is that without you knowing it, when you hear something, you make like tiny movements of your head,
Yeah.
and then your brain goes, right, I turned to the left and it got a bit louder in the right and a bit quieter in the left, therefore it's over there, right? And this is just things you do subconsciously. In most situations, like playing games where if you're wearing headphones, you'll do that movement, but it won't make any difference.
Yeah.
But with this it will, because it's
Yeah.
tracking your head. So that's really interesting. So basically any pair of headphones is now surround
3D
sound,
sound,
you know?
yeah. Okay, cool.
Okay, I'm not going to do a remastered game one. That's boring.
Yeah, I've had
Oh.
one of them.
I mean, I love to see Skate 3 in VR. Go.
Yeah. What does PSVR stand for?
PlayStation
PlayStation
Virtual Reality. Next.
Get
Next
out.
question.
Get out.
You probably wanted something funny, but here we are.
Yeah.
It's quite
Get your
late.
PlayStation,
You've heard the show. Yeah.
Are any of the rest of you guys now considering purchasing one? Yes, with the
Or
obvious
like to,
caveats.
Why are
Yeah.
you reading that?
I don't know. I just thought, mostly to annoy you.
No, it's not. I don't know why he says that. That's such a thing
No,
that
'cause
you
I-
say afterwards.
There's
Because
some
videos I knew-
I'm actually doing it to annoy you.
Because it's guaranteed it's going to, isn't it?
Right,
It's,
okay.
okay. Okay. Is it worth buying now? This is from Matt King. Or should you wait for a PS Pro before we go on?
Oh, you can get one now.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely, I mean, if you can afford it, get it now.
Yeah, I mean,
because,
No one knows what PS4 Pro is really going to bring.
No.
It'll be better.
and it's
I'd
not going to
imagine,
bring
but
anything to the
it's-
current games on the market, I don't think.
No, I think it will.
Like what?
I think current developers may update their game to utilise the power of PS4
Yeah,
Pro.
yeah, but that's guesswork, right? As it stands at the moment, the games you're playing now won't be improved by PSVR. By PS Pro.
Unless the devs update them. Yeah,
unless the devs update them,
But then it won't be like a genuinely new way of doing things.
No.
It'll just
No,
be,
just
well,
be
it
a
looks
slightly
nice.
better, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's good. It's absolutely good enough now to experience it, and yeah, PS4.
Okay. Well, World Citizen says though, do you need to have the PS Move controllers, or could you?
I would say
Depends what you want to play.
in the experiences we tried, they definitely add more. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like, there's certain games that absolutely need them.
Tumble. I
It's
mean,
just
If you're playing it, if you're buying it to play like stuff like Res, you don't need it.
yeah, no, there's a lot of
Exactly.
experiences you don't need them, but for things like London Heist, for Tumble, I mean, Batman if it works well, Until Dawn, Russian Blood, yeah, the move controls are great, and from second hand, like 30 quid for the pair, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, John Denton says every game appears to be amazing. Has anything disappointed so far? That kitchen game that disappointed me. Apart from that,
Probably Batman. I thought that was going to be the pinnacle, and it wasn't.
Nothing's really. I don't think anything's disappointed me. Like, everything's been pretty good, at least.
Yeah, I mean, there's been
or
issues
brilliant.
of tracking issues, graphic. I mean, this kitchen is like quite jaggy.
To be
but
fair, yeah, I've not played anything with the move controller. So
everything
maybe
I've
that's
played
yet to
has
come.
been,
Have you
has
not?
been good.
No.
Oh right.
You mean
shit.
nothing with
neither
move
have I.
controllers?
No,
Oh,
I
wow.
haven't tried it either because it was. Yeah,
What?
Yeah, there was.
What?
We spent ages, didn't we, while you were trying to figure out if the microphone was plugged in. Or
Okay, let's move on.
not. Okay. We've got.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would like to know what the viewing mode is like. Can you watch films, and is it better looking than on telly?
No, you tried this on Pro Evolution Soccer.
So,
right?
yeah,
I thought I did this earlier.
So yeah,
right.
so we did answer this in the bit that got cut, but basically you can have cinematic mode where you can play any, and you can basically go in the PS4 menu. You can play any game, anything you watch on PS4. You can watch in a cinematic menu, cinematic view. There's 3 different screen sizes. The largest one is so big you have to basically crane your head to look at all the 4 corners. I played PES on that on a Thursday night, and yeah, it's definitely lower resolution than a lot of your TVs, but it was fun, and but it's you're not going to watch an amazing movie on it because it's low resolution on your TV generally.
Yeah.
But also, you know, maybe if your partner or something else is using TV, I could also happily play games.
Mate, honestly, you can't. You would sit there with your wife sitting next to you watching TV. You'd sit there and watch something on the
It
PSVR.
would be weird.
No, but I can go upstairs to another room. I know, but it's possible, but it's low resolution.
I couldn't do that.
Going upstairs, open the door, and you're just sitting in the middle of the room.
But I don't care. I don't care about that. Also, I'm sure a lot of you have seen already, but you can basically plug your Xbox One into this, your Wii U into this, and dare say your PC into this. So, yeah, it's an option.
Okay, I found myself steaming up the screen for the first 5 minutes, then it clears. Is there a way to avoid this full stop?
Yeah, don't breathe through your nose when you're putting your headset on.
Also, don't get motion sickness because you get hot. But yeah, I mean,
don't be a sweaty bugger.
I mean, I think I basically got no screaming for the whole weekend. But yeah, if you get hot and you get sweaty,
I found that when I'm pulling it down, I'm breathing through my nose,
because obviously Res,
I've not had it during. I've had instances where I've put it on and go, oh, fucking hell, and then take it off.
Sweaty.
So you're sweaty after Res, but you didn't steam up.
No, I didn't steam up.
Okay. No, there's no way of avoiding it other than holding. You breathe through your mouth when you're putting a headset on. I've found that helps.
James.
Last one, Athena. Can you fuck it? Not yet. I don't.
Can
think.
you fuck it?
I mean, I haven't. I mean,
the headset.
These guys
are flaps.
These guys are still here. So,
well, there's not a lot of room behind them.
Mate,
so.
I could almost fuck anything.
I'm not sure.
I'd find a way.
We should.
There's no orifice really.
I don't know if we want. Let's wait.
Can we stop this now?
No.
I could,
you can get it
through the flaps. Yeah, we'll discuss it.
But there's not a lot there.
So there's nothing there. You're not going to get anything.
Yeah.
I would. If I had to fuck it, I'd put it through here.
Basically, find out next week's show if you want to answer. We'll get back to you.
I can't see anywhere sticking up your arse either.
So
you're actually going to fuck the headset?
No, I'm not going to.
Fucking hell, that was. No, I'm not.
Are there any more questions?
No, we got nothing.
Right, okay.
Let's see if there's some.
Matt, let's go home.
We've got to end this.
It's been ridiculous.
Because I've now realised there's loads of stuff we've not yet played, and we're going home tomorrow. So
I want to play Res.
Listen, to everyone that's watched live, to everyone that's tweeted us, to anyone that's put a comment, to anyone that's just watching it, thank you so much. This has been a lot more relaxing and natural than I ever thought it would be. We were
dangerously relaxing.
I think we were all very nervous before we started podcasting today.
I've genuinely had a few sleepless nights, thinking how am I going to set it up? How's it going to work?
And I feel that it's been successful, and a large part of that is the reaction we've got from you guys, and we really, really appreciate it. Thanks so much for living it. And we will be back next week with more. If you don't know who we are, if you've just stumbled across us on YouTube or on Twitter or whatever, we're the Computer Game Show. We have a podcast on iTunes. Primarily, that's our main thing. We put a new show out every Wednesday, and we talk about computer games. And we'd love it if you come check us out next week.
Oh my god!
What was that?
It was okay.
Phone's right.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Yeah, bye.
Do I have to click?
What the fuck?
Sorry,
I went like this. I didn't try and tip it over you.
It's a top one.
Watch it happen. Watch it happen live. Look, watch where the beer is.
Hang on.
No, don't stop. Watch it happen. Watch the beer can go live. Look.
Are we watching the beer can go live?
Yeah. Keep it going.
Nice. Thank you and goodbye.
So now we just